We're going to kick this live Friday transmission off with an extremely important report from Paul Joseph Watson that puts everything in perspective of what we're dealing with the left and how they're allied with any form of authoritarianism that enslaves men, women, and children, but especially women, because women are the fount of life. Here it is.
Courageous women across Iran are opposing an oppressive Islamic theocracy by removing their hijabs in public. And where's the pussy hat crowd? Where are the Western feminists? Oh, that's right, they just spent the last year fetishizing and normalizing the hijab. They spent the last year applauding global corporations for adorning athletes and Barbie dolls with it. They embraced the hijab to such a degree, they literally made it the symbol of their resistance movement. How can you claim to represent women's rights when you're genuflecting to a symbol of oppression for women across an entire continent? The first thing women in Syria do when they're liberated from ISIS control is to remove their hijabs with glee. The very first Arab feminist groups 100 years ago discarded their hijabs in protest. Now Iranian women in 2018 are doing the same thing, beaten for it in the streets. And how does the left respond? With complete silence or even tacit support for the Islamic regime. How many times has the official Pussy Hat Women's March even tweeted about Iran? Oh look, it's zero! Another case in point, the relentless cancer that is BuzzFeed.
People are using an old image of a woman without a headscarf to illustrate the Iran protests.
Old? Really? So how old is it, BuzzFeed? 6 months? 2 years? 5 years? Oh, it's literally from last week, as you admit in your own article. It's from December 27th, just a week before you published the article. So you accuse me of misleading people when you're the ones misleading people by claiming an image is old when it isn't even old. You're the ones literally spreading fake news to side with an oppressive Islamic theocracy against women's rights. Oh no, people are using a 4-day-old image of a woman spurning the forced modesty culture of a misogynistic death cult that we peddle to our virtue-signaling white guilt-ridden readership as empowering, and it's totally up our victim narrative. BuzzFeed claims that images of women removing their hijabs to protest against government laws which force them to wear hijabs have nothing to do with the anti-government protests. In fact, it's got so little to do with the anti-government protests that it literally became an iconic symbol of the anti-government protests. Who wrote this BuzzFeed piece? Rose Troop Buchanan? Yeah, let's check that white privilege, Rose, and listen to what actual Iranians have to say about this. I'm from Iran, and every day many women are arrested because they didn't cover their hair properly. If a woman doesn't wear a scarf at all, she will be lashed. The people of Iran have made this image a symbol of their resistance, but to many leftists, everything is about American politics and their opposition to the right. The world is bigger than the US, BuzzFeed. You have taken the side of the theocrats against the oppressed. Yeah, a little more listening to people who are actually from the country, BuzzFeed, and a little less white-splaining, please. A little less throwing actual feminists under the bus with your fake news. And didn't you just know Miss Sharia law is reasonable Linda Sarsour would have to insert herself into this? Why does the right wing suddenly care about women in the Middle East? They didn't care about the Rohingya Muslims. Yeah, except they did. And Sarsour herself only tweeted about it when it became a global news story. Hey Linda, I was calling for women to liberate themselves of their burqas 4 years ago. And what were you doing? Joking about how FGM victims like Ayaan Hirsi Ali should have their vaginas removed. And you've got the nerve to call yourself a women's rights advocate.
She's a fake feminist. Ms. Sarsour is not interested in universal human rights. She's a defender of Sharia law.
Noticeable that male far-right bloggers, commentators in the US and Europe are going viral by deciding who is and who isn't a true feminist in relation to the West's response to Iran's protests.
Yeah, noticeable how many far-left bloggers, commentators in the US and Europe are fetishizing the hijab, a symbol of patriarchal oppression, while actual victims of patriarchal oppression in Iran liberate themselves of it. Hey lefties, feminism isn't about virtue signalling on Twitter about how much you respect women while you sexually abuse them behind the scenes. It's about literally risking incarceration and torture to stand up for actual women's rights. Drink it in, because this is what a real feminist looks like. This is what a real feminist movement looks like. It's not about your corporate feminist hijabi-friendly Islamophilia. It's about risking it all to be a beacon of true freedom and true liberation for women around the world.
You know, Donald Trump over the weekend said something that really started to sink in for me right before we went live, because it's so true. The truth is powerful, and Trump operates unlike any statesman I've seen in modern history in the truth. And that's what's so refreshing about it. But he said, you know, the mainstream media really needs me to win in 2020. You guys had almost no ratings and it completely imploded until I came along, and you're still a shadow of your former selves because you're fake news. But he said, you need me. And look at the economy. Look at all of it. It's all roaring back, and optimism and so many other good things. And Trump is delivering on what he said. Very sensible policies across the board. And they are just flipping out, completely inverting all of this. And now Michael Wolff, known for yellow journalism. I mean, he's famous for festooning his news reports with outright fabrications. Like you hang ornaments on a Christmas tree. He's now come out and said he has no way to know if any of it's true. And he's gone on to say, quote, I'll do whatever is necessary to get the story. Wolff in journalist clothing. By the way, this guy looks so disingenuous. I saw a photo of him last night smiling, and it reminded me of a piece I've been wanting to do for months. Guys, go to Google Images and get Brian Stelter smiling. It is the most disingenuous, Wolff-like demon face I've ever seen. And then you look at Wolff, it looks like Wolff is Brian Stelter's real daddy. I'll come find it during the break because there's no way for you guys to know which ones I want. It's Brian Stelter. There it is. Oh, my God. I mean, that is a horror movie cover. Seriously, he is scarier looking than It the Clown. I mean, would you let your children anywhere near that psychopath? I mean, that is a psychopath right there. I mean, look at him. God. Oh, I mean, it cries out. Danger, danger, alert, alert. I am a scumbag. I am filth. I am your enemy. And then you look at the photos of Wolff smiling, and it's the only person I've ever seen that looks that creepy, man. It's a still image photo of him smiling the same way with that power trip look in his eyes. It's in Google Images. Just type in Michael Wolff journalist. That's his cover. And you'll see the Brian Stelter look. I believe he is related to Stelter. He's got to be. I mean, folks, I would literally not be able to finish my dinner if somebody walked over and talked to me that looked like these two guys. And I'm sorry. They're not just lying anti-American scumbags that want to run us all on the ground because they're little men. They're pieces of crap. They think they're better than everybody. That's what it's about. It's a spirit of evil, and we must break them. Oh. Anytime I need energy now, I'm hanging Wolff and Stelter and Hillary. She's the other person that's got the same demon look. I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you. I'm a ravenous piece of garbage. And I'm going to hang all three of them on my office wall. In fact, I'm putting their faces up all over the office because I want people to know who the enemy is. Unbelievable. You guys still haven't found the one. It's a body shot of Wolff, and he's looking down with that disingenuous predator look of I'm not even hiding the fact that I hate everybody and that I'm a piece of crap and that I want to abuse you and I want to lie to you and I want to hurt you. But then there's a disingenuousness where he thinks you don't know. And it's like a joke that we're not in on. And no, that's not it. It's a body shot. It's him kind of looking down, and he's got that same smile as Stelter. And these are photos that they themselves put out as publicity photos. I've tried to do joke photos like this to look disingenuous, and I can make any face I want to. I can't pull it off because the eyes, Chico. It's always in the eyes. And again, I am always following my gut from now on with people. And how, just like Trump said, and they got big studies out, you can tell if somebody's lying. You can tell if somebody's been sick even a few hours, even though the virus or bacteria hasn't really replicated. Your brain is such a supercomputer that your first shallow approximation is not shallow, it's the deepest thing, to paraphrase the president. But just look at Stelter again. Put him on screen. I think this all the broadcast should be is just a photo of Stelter smiling. Oh my gosh. Oh, hell on earth. He wants to run your life. He wants to control every aspect of your life because he knows he is a cowardly, degenerate sack of anti-human trash. I pledge before my Heavenly Father that I will resist them every way I can. These people are the literal demon spawn of the pit of hell. Look at him. And you know what? He is better than you if you keep letting him run your life. He runs your kids. He runs the schools. He runs the banks. This guy, this spirit, this smiling, leering devil that thinks you can't see what he is your enemy. Period. All the narcissistic, devil-worshipping filth. I see you, enemy. I see you, enemy. 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 You are my enemy. And I swear total resistance to you with everything I've got. Disingenuous, fake, false, broke back, twisted, a defiler, a betrayer, a backstabber, a devil. You will pay. Yeah, you think I don't see your face, scum? You don't think I don't see you, Stelter? I see you. You understand me? I know what you think of me and my family. I see you right back. You understand that? You understand that, Stelter? Stelter. You will fall. You will not bring humanity down. God is going to destroy you. Get him off the screen. Oh, God, they're so evil. Just please, God, free us from them. They're drunk on our children's blood, for God's sake. Okay, I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to find the photo of Wolff. The author of the... I'm just giving you a little bit of how they feel about you, see? But not the same spirit, from a spirit of will and strength against evil and recognizing evil and letting it know that you understand what it's up to and that you see it. You understand? Because they don't want to be identified, but they want to hang it out right there in front of you and not be identified, like the Joker. I see it. I know what your real face is. Oh, they just absolutely love to hurt innocents. They just rub their hands together to break down civilization, to destroy families, to defile everything they can, and to deceive and to mislead, to build their own universe of fraud. This is the compendium of their abomination desolation. Let me continue here for a second. The author of the explosive new Trump book says he can't be sure parts of it are true and just does whatever it takes to get in the news. Oh, there you go. So he just runs around. And, you know, and I knew he was such a charlatan, according to his own words, basically, Mr. Wolfie, that Mr. Wolff in journalist clothing, as they're saying. But I said, oh, Bannon certainly is going to say he's been misquoted and this was hyperbole or he was juxtapositioning or he was devil's advocating. Because, you know, I war game things here on air and the media takes it out of context, even though 20 seconds before I said, I don't really believe this, but this is how they basically see it. And that's how they deceive. It's what they do. They're of their father, the devil, a spirit they worship. But they don't want you to know that it's all real and they are literal on their belly snakes. Now, I see the snakes in the grass. We will stand against them. I'm going to compose myself, but we'll be right back on the other side as we expose these wolves, these beasts that go about roaring, seeing who they may devour. Stay with me. People like Hillary Clinton like to hurt people. Fake journalist, this wolf in the hen house, Michael Wolff, people like him enjoy the climate of fake news media, corporate media, and the open season on the truth, open season on the president, open season on loyal, decent, hardworking, honorable folks. open season because the trash knows it's being taken out. And so the trash is fighting for its political, cultural, and spiritual life. And its life is culturally ruling us. Leftist globalism allied with Islam, as Paul Watson's report on Infowars.com breaks it down, is allied with radical Islam and is saying it isn't feminist to take your hijab off, and the women standing up getting shot and killed in Iran and places like Tehran, they're not good. And Iran and the mullahs are good. Paul Watson lays it out. News articles, videos, progressive left. There's the title. Progressive left embraces the hijab while actual feminists in Iran remove it to fight oppression and in some cases get tortured and killed and shot. Well, it's hundreds dead now. But that's okay because, see, making a woman wear a hood over her head or cutting her genitals off is liberal. Because that's what liberals want. If they can't cut your womb out, and if they can't butcher your baby in the womb, they're going to try to brain damage it with all their vaccines and their fluoride and all the garbage. They admit that's their plan. Because they're all about hurting children. And they like this modern form, this radical form, and this, in some cases, orthodox form of Islam that sells women at sex auctions, and CNN won't even say it's an Islamic thing that's happening. Imagine if churches were in North Africa selling women on slave blocks. You'd hear all about the denomination, the religious leader, why they do it, how it's wrong, but they won't even say to Islam, what you're doing's wrong. Because they don't want a reformation. Ladies and gentlemen, they want Islam to be used as a system to control people, and that's why it's not even Islam. It's political evil. Just like leftist garbage is political evil. And that's who they are. And the smiley-faced demons out there like Brian Stelter and Michael Wolff and Michael Moore, they're all going to point at our champion, who is in the center of the arena under massive attacks and whole balconies, whole cacophonies, whole lines of these carrion crows, these buzzards, these vultures, these rotten flesh eaters. They sit up there and all crow and cackle in chorus that we're bad and we're fake and we're evil. When you judge a tree by its fruits, all we deliver is the news before it's ever forced out. All we deliver is the cutting edge. All we deliver is danger to them. All we deliver is the reality of people that aren't intimidated and aren't lying down and aren't taking their crap anymore. And I just read where Tony Blair says, I never told them this. I never said the things Wolff says. It's total fabrication. And you go read about Wolff, it's like everybody's ever been interviewed by him says he's a fabricator. That's what he's known for. He's not a journalist. He's a fabricator, in my researched view. The author of the explosive new Trump book says he can't be sure if parts of it are true. See, why didn't Bannon come out day one and say, oh, this is twisted. I didn't do this. No. That's not what they do. He just sits there and goes, oh, I love Trump, and then sits back and watches his attempt to blow up the White House politically. He lights the fuse, walks off the safe distance. He goes, is it snowing outside? No, it's dandruff. Ketchup stains down the front of him. I'm the Liberty Movement. I came with money and took over Breitbart after he died. I'm the kingpin. I'm the god. I'm the Liberty Movement. Meanwhile, he's behind the scenes leaking everything to the New York Times, the Washington Post. And by the way, leaking BS and running around, we now know, to the FBI, fawning and agreeing with the Russia investigation in a hope to, I guess, sabotage the White House and have his cake and eat it too. Because, see, the sociopaths and psychopaths or weak people that have been abused themselves and they go out and do it to others, they usually feel like they're owed something. I find a lot of times that's really what it is. I think Bannon's kind of one of those. He wants to show everybody he's the big man. He's the tough guy. He's the leader. He's in control. And he's got to overthrow everybody around him so he can feel like he's big. He's number one. But that's not the case with Wolfie and Stelter and Clinton. They know exactly what they're doing, and they hate everybody around them. And they want to burn our world down so they can act like they're the big boys. And they love it. I mean, it is just sick. And how ridiculous power trips are, how horrible they are, how enslaving they are. And you see someone possessed with a power trip. You see someone so into themselves that they'll do anything to serve evil. And notice, they don't ever go make up stuff or do anything in the fiction world because they don't want to do that. Or they call it fiction, but it's really propaganda. Everything with them is deceit because they don't know any better. They're deceivers. They're defilers. They're poisoners. They don't like the light in your eyes. They don't like the soul. They don't like the honor. They don't like the strength. They don't like the will. And they take the fact that we're kind and loving and good and open-armed to come into our midst and to feed and twist and hurt people and play folks off against each other. And there are these psychopathic, twisted control freaks in every culture, in every society, in every group, in all parts of history, and they always act and behave the same. And they always push and push and push and push, thinking they're invincible until the giant awakens and it's too late. And they've studied the history books, and they think because they have technology and other things that they'll be able to override the human will to survive and the human will to have honor and the human will to be strong and forthright. And they take our nobility that they so hate and crave because they don't have 1/1 trillionth of the spark that we have, that is only 1/1 trillionth of a fraction of infinity of the mind of God. They are cut off from God. And so they want to ruin and wreck civilization, and they are committed to doing it. And they are committed to hurting you and your family, poisoning your food and water, watching your children be brain damaged while they strut around and watch and gloat and laugh. None of these top leftists take vaccines. None of them eat GMO. None of them are into aspartame. It's for the president to drink and die. And it's for us to drink and die, or your mother to drink and die, while they all just sit back and laugh as they literally have that. They always go, we're fallen and we're scum. But when they walk around the shopping mall, they go, at least I'm hurting these people. And how can I hurt somebody right now? Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live broadcasting worldwide. I intend to open the phones up coming up in the next segment. The toll-free number to join us is 877-789-2539. I keep forgetting to tell you guys during the breaks. I'm sorry. Will you put the clock back up there for me? Thank you. That's really helpful. 877-789-2539. We're opening the phones up on any subject you want to discuss, but really I think it's important for everybody to understand that we've got a bunch of clips of the Wolf in journalist clothing, which is really the Wolf stream media. I mean, that's what they are. They are fake news in sheep's clothing. They are wolves in sheep's clothing. The author of the explosive new Trump book says he can't be sure parts of it are true, and they, quote, did whatever it took to get the story. Isn't that just sweet as pumpkin pie? And that's what these people are all about, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Blair says the guy's a liar. They didn't say these things. It goes on and on and on. Meanwhile, this is the #1 story pretty much in the world. He couldn't even come up with the name himself. He had to lift it from the president, the target of his parasitic behavior. And as one of the crew in there said, you know, we're really just lining this guy's pockets. And I understand that. That's what it is about parasites. They take your energy. They force you to counter them. They force you to smash them flat. But they have no honor, so they don't care. They run off the bank. This guy is a known charlatan. It's simply insane, just like his son, Brian Stelter. I'm saying his spiritual son, because if you find the two smiling in photos, they're trying to keep all those photos off the internet, seriously. Like photos of Hillary smiling, they remove them, because she looks like a great white shark when it's about to attack and breach the surface. And the dead shark eyes. It's all about minions, all about her feeling powerful as someone grovels to her. Oh, yes, oh, you're so powerful. Oh, yes, thank you, I am. Oh. Not so powerful now, are you, witch? And you'll be known in history as a crook. And Trump will be known as a titan of liberty. Someone that delivered, someone that was honorable, and you'll all try to write the annals that he wasn't. But just like the British history books said William Wallace was this and that, and a thief and a piece of garbage and a coward, everybody knows in history now he wasn't a coward, he was an honorable man. Because everybody intrinsically knows everything you say is a pile of garbage. You are the lie. The liar, the enemy. The defiler, the disgraceful, the cowardly, the spiritually wicked, the abomination, fallen, twisted, ugly, venomous, dishonorable. These are your names of you and your father. So just remember that. Just remember that, all of you that seek evil, believing you'll find power. All you will find is disgrace, but you already know that because many of you are inherently evil. You inherently choose that, and you are of that, and you like that. I'm speaking to the general public who isn't like that to understand we're dealing with people that want to lie to you and screw you over and hurt you. That's what they get off on. And everybody knows this. Everybody understands this in criminology. History's replete with it, and we're looking down the barrel of it now. And they are spiritually pulling their hair out because they know there's somebody now, not just here, but all over the world, like you. They know there's somebody like you who does love God, who does love justice, who wants to be truthful, who wants to be nice, who wants to help people, who doesn't get mad at other people's success. You can have anything you want. Just don't take it from me. But see, these are, more than anything, spiritually ugly people. If you think their appearances are ugly, their souls are devoid of anything but a grasping lust to hurt you. And if they could just strangle some innocence out of something, just while they wrap their fingers metaphysically around the child innocent's neck and squeeze the life out of it, they, for a glimpse, feel like they've conquered death by pulling something down as they scrabble in their little pits. Now, I'm done preaching, but you have to understand we're dealing with scum of the earth. And I think I've said that enough, but scum of the earth, 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 scum, losers, trash, filth. I mean, I just cannot express to you enough that we have to really not hate these people, but like you don't hate a rotting dead carcass of a hog or a horse or a deer over on the side of the highway, but you don't want to run up to it and wallow in it and kiss it and marry it, or take it home and put it in the bed with you. You don't take a dead rotting horse with thousands of maggots on it and go stick it in your bed, and curl up to it at night and love it and celebrate it. You just stay away from it. But see, we can't stay away because these people run our lives because they crave it, and they get in the positions over everybody so they can sit there and rain hell down on us. Because they're already on the bottom, and they're trying to bring the world down. They're trying to burn it down because they don't like you. They don't like God. They don't like justice. They don't like anything decent and wholesome. They drive through, these globalists, through the countryside, and see pretty fields and happy farmhouses, and they get angry. They have extreme enmity, but they see some homeless person with big old jaundiced eyes, bloodshot, stumbling around with diarrhea running down their leg, and they kind of get a little happy. I've seen it, and kind of, well, and they'll kind of look at them, And I've noticed that about leftists, and you're like, oh my God, they are literal psychic vampires, and that's why everywhere they're in control, there's just feces all over the ground, and people starving and lying around, and drug needles everywhere, while they drive around in their $150,000 cars and just enjoy it. Oh, yes, the ugliness. Like a, Lord looking down from his castle at the starving villagers that are like a foot shorter than him and his family, because for generations they've been stunting them and keeping them down, and they just look over the castle wall and just say, it's such a pleasure. It's so fun to hold America underwater. It's so much fun to have us with the highest prohibitory taxes in the world to keep jobs out of the country. It's so much fun to turn men and women against each other and black against white and old against young. It's so much fun to twist everything and deceive and corrupt. It's so good when you're in the darkness and they don't know, and you can just play with them like they're little toys, and you can break arms off and break legs off and set the toys on fire and do whatever you want to them and just giggle and laugh and have fun, because that's what you do, because you are the most hideous, twisted, defiling, lying vipers the earth has ever seen. Okay, I'm just telling you they are. And again, I could talk for 1,000 days. You cannot describe their commitment to evil, their commitment, their soul lust, their love, their desire is to hurt you. Period. And they know it, and they think it's funny. But they don't want you to know. They like the sick joke of telling you they arbitrate culture and society, they're in charge, and they are going to tell you how to, and you're going to come to them as their priest, their guru, their shaman, and they're going to look down on you as a pile of crap, and they're going to try to do whatever they can to turn you into a confused, freaked out, fallen, failed person like them. But you're not. Look at the most popular stories on Infowars.com from the last few days. Colorado lawmakers resist Sessions' war on marijuana. What a stupid, dumb thing by Sessions. Court upholds $135,000 fine for bakers who refused to bake a gay cake. Green Day singer tells his Trump-supporting fans to F off. Germany to censor media and upcoming Nazi-style purge. They've openly announced it. And Chelsea Clinton sends a Happy New Year's tweet to the Church of Satan. What a just little mix of bizarreness. But again, you get an idea of where they're coming from. Put as many peaceful, nonviolent, even legal marijuana smokers in jail as you can, while the Clinton crime family has been caught smuggling children out of Haiti by the thousands. Associated Press. One big investigative report over 2 years came out, 6 months ago? No coverage of it anywhere. I can't believe AP even put it out. But see, what happens is people find this is going on, they document it, and they go, listen, everybody's going to revolt that isn't pure criminals if we don't at least put this out. And then we can kind of act like, when more comes out later, that we did something. It's just incredible. And a lot of people go, look, these are really evil people. We get it, Alex. We're not going up against them. They're going to get you when they want to get you if you don't fight them now. I mean, if somebody's coming after me, let's go. I'm going to get them. How about that? I mean, they're a bunch of hunchback devil worshipers, for heaven's sakes. Who's going to protect the children if we don't do it? I just am letting myself realize how they are truly as bad as we've always said. It's just, they're even worse. It's like, oh my God, how much worse. It's incredible. And we're living right beside these people. They're all around us. It's a very small minority. But man, they have recruited all these weak-minded people and all these people, all these narcissists and folks. They have recruited them, and they have got legions of these idiots who are destroying their own humanity and their own future so they can be on a red carpet with a bunch of Skeksis. You couldn't pay me all. I mean, I just, I've gone from not caring about Hollywood to all just absolutely loathing it. And the good news is people are beginning to loathe it as well everywhere. And it's good. And so I'm so happy. But it makes the enemy fight even harder. And it makes them pull out all the stops and really show us who they are, trying to get us back under their control. And then I think about the poor people that are, I mean, Nico Acosta made this point to me, and Paul did a video on it days ago, and I just can't even look at this guy to play the videos, but he's got billions of views. Logan Paul video, YouTube users act fast to re-upload suicide farce video despite it being taken down, and then YouTube doesn't take it down. After it had tens of millions of views, he took it down and then does a sorry video, and it's all a big joke, and because it's nasty and it's not masculine, and it's done in a little demonic, gremlin-like way, they leave it up. But then we show army troops saving children from a burning van, and they take it down because they don't want you to see army troops saving kids out of a van. That's YouTube. I mean, it's a true culture of little, weak, twisted people sitting there. We've got them on video going, our main mission is to stop Alex Jones and people like him, and all we do is delist it so nobody can see it. And then we have it in Congress and everywhere saying, shut us down. Why? Because you can see what they are. They go hang out in Japan, it turns out, for weeks, waiting for somebody to go to this famous forest where it's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet story where a young girl killed herself for love. And then hundreds have gone there and hung themselves, killed themselves. And so he goes and makes a big joke and makes fun of the dead body, disgracing some poor soul who took their own life. And because it's so dishonorable, so twisted, so weak, so pathetic, so poisonous, so heartless, so soulless, that if they can get young people to get off on somebody's misery and their rotting dead body and make fun of it, and then make money off of it, and do it while you're wearing a Yoda hat, all of it perfectly done. This is a psyop, folks. This is all staged. To turn wisdom on its head, it's all archetypal. You think Yoda would go make fun of some dead body? Again, that archetype, this is what it's all about. It's all about defiling so that you'll defile yourself, so you'll be dishonorable. So they have bigger armies of sociopathic zombies to carry out their operations. I've got all these video clips and loaded phone lines, and we've got Zach. I don't know if he's going to give his identity out today. His name is Zach, formerly with Army Special Operations and Intelligence in pretty sensitive areas, giving us a lot of key information that's not classified about the globalists and their next moves. Just as important as anything you see from QAnon or anything, and I'm not lessening that. This is real. This is vetted. We can guarantee it. And he's been very accurate in the past, from Vegas to you name it. So that's coming up. Millie Weaver's going to be here at the bottom of the hour, but Jeff in Vancouver Island and many others are going to your calls here in just a few minutes. You know the drill. And I thank you for your support. You're the reason we're here. If you go buy products, T-shirts, books, films, water filters, you name it, at InfoWarsStore.com, you support the tip of the spear. And believe me, I actually have asked to be the tip of the spear. I've tried to be the tip of the spear, not knowing God would actually do it. I mean, I just meant, God, give me whatever strength I can to fight these people and make me strong because I'm weak. And please guide my hands and please help me because I'm under attack. My family's under attack. And I'm not whining. I asked for it. But let me tell you something. We are the tip of the spear. We are the enemy's #1 threat other than Trump because we're there pointing out who they are. And that they're horrible demons, and we're not afraid of them because we're afraid of giving in to them. We're afraid of turning loose our will to them. Out of fear, I have no fear. You understand? So I need you to commit to go to InfoWarsStore.com, and it just enrages them, and buy the products you need. Just shop with the good guys. It'll change the world. 50% off almost all of our best-selling items, except for stuff like, oops, I didn't do that on purpose. It's 67% off the colloidal silver. We had to pull that because it's basically sold out. So it's gone back to regular price. It's still a great deal on Silver Bullet. We've got the Super Blue fluoride-free toothpaste that is, again, fortified with colloidal silver and iodine for adults and children, and the Super Blue mouthwash as well, both fortified It's amazing for your gums, you name it. There's nothing else out there like it. And, of course, it's a bestseller. InfoWarsStore.com. Read the thousands of 5-star reviews at InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. 50% off all Super Blue products. 50% off all of them. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or 888-253-3139. 50% off, and then other stuff's even more. But again, a lot of it is selling out. The Super Blue is very, very close to being sold out. And so I'm going to be back in for a month and a half or so. They say till the end of February. So I'm going to have to, after the weekend, that stockpile has been depleted. And it's a big deal to run a big run of it at the big factory. And again, it's produced by the company that produces some of the top names in organic, fluoride-free toothpaste. But some of them are politically correct, so then we've gotten word that we're not supposed to say it, even though we can. But it's fine. The point is it's high quality. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or 888-253-3139. Super Blue. We're very, very proud of it. Designed by my dad, oral surgeon, doctor, dentist, implant surgeon, back when he first taught it when it first came out at Baylor Medical. He's a smart guy, and it's great toothpaste. Designed by a dentist for his family. So InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. And whether it's the Real Red Pill, I'll find out about that, which is the foundation for everything, or whether it is Alpha Power, that is amazing, or whether it's Super Male Vitality. Some people like Super Male Vitality better. Some people like Alpha Power better. We've all tried it here in the office. Some people like Anthroplex better. Some people like Alpha Power better. They're different formulas. They're different for different people. But Alpha Power is very potent, very strong, stamina, libido, energy. Read the reviews. It is amazing. And 50% off from Male Vitality. It's all about to end. It has to end because a bunch of this is, again, selling out. And that's how it is year end. And so it could be months, just like I told you, Michael ZX was selling out. And so that 50% off is now gone and it's about to sell out. I mean, it's going to be sold out probably for months because it's so hard to have California standards, and which is basically impossible for multi-ingredient compounds. So it's just batch after batch fails. Other people just slap the sticker on there. You understand, a piece of lettuce has more lead in it than can be in a whole bottle of something, according to California standards. And then they'll test everything and hope they catch something, even though everybody else can't pass it, basically. And then go, oh, look, he's the devil, he's murdering you. This is how this stuff works, ladies and gentlemen, when it's some of the highest quality, cleanest stuff out there. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. We'll be right back. Please spread the live video links. There's no such thing as the devil's helpers. There's only slaves. There's only chattel that always is destroyed, always is betrayed. And that's what betrayal is. Betrayal is the essence of evil. And we should learn to recognize it and know it for what it is. That's why they always accuse us that are trying to be good and trying to be honorable and who have consciences and who bust our butts to try to be the best we can, that we are frauds, that we are fakes. That face in the crowd moment that they're always looking for to try to bring down Trump or myself or Matt Drudge or anybody else, when they are the ones that have the histories. I've gotten a little bit philosophical in the last hour because it's desperately important that people really understand. And I know most of you know this better than I, but I mean, we're really dealing with wholesale evil here, okay? And it's committed to hurting all of us. And we just can't sit there and try to keep out of its way and be cowards. We've got to take it head on, and we've got to take it down. And again, I don't say this to brag. I say it because we're under attack. Because the spirit of Infowars, it's not just my spirit, it's your spirit, it's our spirits together with God, tying us together. Our spirit is one of victory, it's one of commitment, it's one of honor, it's one of delivering, it's one of straight shooting. And they know that. And they know we're never going to fold. They know it. No matter how much poison they put in the water and the food and how much cultural crap they shovel at us, we're never giving up. And they know it. And we're always going to be so much stronger than them. And they know that too. And they hate it. So you remember that and don't ever feel bad about yourself when you know you love God. Don't ever let the enemy make you depressed and keep you down and tell you you're crap. They're the crap. And we don't revel in how they're failed and fallen. We don't want to be around them. We want them to go away. Get out of our way. We are the trailblazers. We are the striving entrepreneurs. We are the builders. That's why the Bible says, get behind me, Satan. Christ says, get behind me, Satan. Get out of my way. The devil doesn't build anything. He follows life around trying to screw it over, feeding off of it while he hates it. And I just think we should all pray to God to help us be strong and in Christ's name say, get behind me, Satan. 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 In the name of Jesus Christ, get behind me, Satan. Get behind me, Brian Stelter. Get behind me, Michael Wolff. Get behind me, Hillary Clinton. Get out of our way in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. You know that name. You hate that name because that name is the truth and is power. Not these fake churches, but Christ and Christ's Spirit has broken you forever. You are fallen and feel the strength of Christ. I know you can feel it. It's the Spirit that death has been conquered by. It's a spirit that when you feel it come into your presence, it's awesome. And it makes you want to cry because you're naked and you're a sinner and you're in the presence of the God that created all that is and all that will ever be.
I authorized zero access to the White House, actually turned you down many times, said he never spoke to you for the book. It's full of lies, misrepresentations, and sources that don't exist. So as good a place to start as any. Did you talk to the president?
What was I doing there if he didn't want me to be there?
Well, let me ask you, did you talk to the president? Did you interview him for this book?
I absolutely spoke to the president. Whether he realized it was an interview or not, I don't know, but it certainly was not off the record. I am certainly and absolutely in every way comfortable with everything I've reported in this book.
Would you release any of those recordings since your credibility is being questioned?
My credibility is being questioned by a man who has less credibility than perhaps anyone who has ever walked on Earth at this point.
Before you stand by everything in the book, nothing made up.
Absolutely everything in the book.
Your former editor at Vanity Fair, Graydon Carter, said he wasn't surprised you'd written this explosive book. He was surprised they let you in the door at the White House. Are you surprised?
No, I'm a nice guy. I go in.
Did you flatter your way in?
I certainly said what was ever necessary to get the story.
Listen now, he just loves being dishonest. He just relishes evil. He just, it all feels so good just to run around and do bad things. And then just the lies that President Trump is the most dishonest, discredited person in history doing 95% of what he said he'd do, at least getting it done or trying to get it done. And then he says he's changed his mind on Afghanistan. I think that's wrong. He's not doing the stuff he said he'd do on vaccines. That's wrong. He needs to move forward, and he is starting to move forward to get things cleared up for Assange. That's happening with the grand juries and all of it being dismissed. And so, yeah, he's okay. So I guess he's starting to deliver there. Okay. He's done some other stuff. But, I mean, who delivered on their promises like this? George Washington? Once Thomas Jefferson got in, he wasn't so much as a libertarian as he was before. He was still a pretty good guy, but he flip-flopped on like 80%. So can't say Jefferson, even though he was a really smart guy. A lot of his writings influenced me, but I mean, who did what they said they'd do? Like this, Abraham Lincoln was an occultist and a weirdo had all sorts of health problems and drank mercury seltzers every morning just so he could stop the disease he had of his bones growing over his joints and his nerves. I forget the disease. I was reading a book about it a few years ago. Very interesting. Hitler did what he said he'd do. You know, a lot of times evil will actually do it. It says, but then you have to actually, what are the promises? Are they good? And is it being followed through on? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Who else has been following through on their promises? Vladimir Putin's, from what he does politically, he's very honorable. They'll probably have that. Oh, see, he's a Russian agent. No, I'm an agent of the truth. Vladimir Putin is the only other modern statesman that delivers on what he says he'll do. And now it's back in vogue because of people like Nigel Farage and Ron Paul and Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. I'm going to go to your phone calls now. I'm going to go to Jeff in Vancouver and Brendan and Georgia and Greg and Luke and Sam and Carlos and John and Dan and Steve and Marcos and Debbie and Miles and many others that are joining us. And we got Millie popping in with a report she shot that's very interesting. Looking at, you know, who Democrats would support for another run. It's interesting to get into their heads and see what their body politics thinking. We got some other big man on the streets that are coming up very, very soon. They're going to be very informative. Let's go ahead and go to Jeff in Vancouver Island. What a beautiful place. Go ahead, Jeff. You're on the air.
Hey, Alex. Thanks. Man, you are right on target today. I just my blood's boiling with you, brother. And you know, a couple things. You know, we're all in a battle. This globe is in a battle right now. We're in the Valley of Decision. And you know, a thought came to me, like, there's this unseen hand that keeps attacking everything and tearing down everything. But you know, the Bible is clear that that unseen hand is moved from one source. And if all the sycophants would gather around their leader, you would find that leader to be what the Bible says, literally, not a metaphor, a fallen angel.
No, I've experienced it. I've seen it. The Bible calls it the mystery of evil. It's a program, a spirit. It's working. They are in concert.
Right. And it's clear. It's simple Bible that this being rejected God because he wanted to be God. And that's the thing he sells to all these people that have a hole in their heart, that are looking for God.
And notice Elon Musk says that. He goes, these are very empty, dangerous, anti-human people that are already worshiping an AI God that's going to make them God. That is revelation.
Exactly. That's their plan. And the farther down the rabbit hole, that's why they get this little buzz of life, the farther down the rabbit hole, because they think they're getting closer, but they're getting dragged down to this place called hell. And
exactly, and that's how the universe works. You don't betray and screw people over and ever, in the end, get delivered. It's a metaphysical rule of common sense and the universe and science. They are delusional. But look, when you look at how narcissistic and on power trips they are, it's like a false program. Like, you can see they're totally weak and pathetic and stupid, but they think they're powerful and smart.
Yeah, and the fruit of it is so clear to people that know God. We can see that they're on the wrong path. So that's my one point. I just want to finish with this point. The Bible also says very clearly that Jesus Christ defeated our enemy when he gave his life for mankind and injected the love of God back into the world. And as much as these people make my blood boil, I know in my heart of hearts that Christ died for every single one of them. And that's the one thing that's going to turn some of these people in the valley, is that Christ already has paid for their sins. And on the judgment day, when everybody is looking the God of the universe in the eye, they're going to see that their debt was paid. They had full life ahead of them, and they turned it away for their own selfishness.
And here's the thing. A lot of these evil people know that.
And those people can't be reached. But it's the people that can be reached that we want to say, you're going over the cliff, brother.
No, you're absolutely right, because you know what the ultimate sin is. It's refusing the Holy Spirit, having God actually reach out and show you, and you go, I don't want you. God bless you. I appreciate your call, Jeff. It's unbelievable. Let's jam in one more call here. Let's go ahead and talk to Carlos. Calls in all the time, but I'm going to go to Carlos. I want to hear what he has to say. Go ahead, Carlos in Montreal.
Thank you, Alex. Just wanted to follow up on, before talking to you about your fantastic iodine product, I'd like to just mention that when China says that it will reduce its taxes to zero to encourage companies to remain in China, in effect, they're failing because the American companies that have any wisdom in this will take the tax money that they save and reinvest it in the United States, where they will have a population that has more disposable income because of the reduced taxes in America. And that's their problem. If they don't do that in China, and they just maintain the tax level where there is now, of course, American companies will come back. But the Chinese don't have the purchasing power to compete with Americans.
Well, exactly. Look, it's state-run government, state-run media, and Trump goes, okay, we'll lower our taxes to your level 15%. And then they go, oh, now it's zero, but you got to invest directly with the... They're saying that these worldwide companies, many of them U.S. companies, have to become state-run. And you're reading it right there in the New York Times like it's a wonderful thing. They're like, oh, go stay in China, everybody. I mean, they're literally agents of this evil power that isn't even communist. It's just this vampiric system. It's incredible how... I mean, on its face, the left is allied with the most radical forms of Islam that oppress women. They're allied with communism. They're allied with it all. What do you want to say about the iodine, brother? Are you gone, Carlos? All right, I think Carlos is gone. I was thinking about holding him over. We'll be right back with more phone calls straight ahead. I shouldn't look at Brian Stelter. Just looking at that photo earlier really triggered me. So, the known yellow journalism king, Mr. Michael Wolff, the man that masquerades in journalist clothing, he's come out with a huge whopper of a lie saying that President Trump is one of the biggest liars out there, saying that he just doesn't do anything he says he'll do. Even CNN and MSNBC admit he's the promise keeper and that he's dangerous because he says what he really thinks, and that he's not a statesman that knows how to twist things. So Trump is known for telling the truth. Trump is known for being a straight shooter. Alex, I will not let you down. I'm going to win. We're going to cut the taxes. We're going to start securing the border. We're going to take care of the veterans. He's been delivering. But, oh, the little journalist who, again, only emerges, it turns out, I've looked like every decade, kind of like It the Clown emerges, every decade or so, to feed, and then he kind of scurries back into the shadows and comes back out with, some big fiasco book with lies and disinfo and false quotes, according to people, all mixed together with some truth. So this is him caught in the big enchilada lie, and then we'll go back to your phone calls.
Would you release any of those recordings since your credibility is being questioned?
My credibility is being questioned by a man who has less credibility than perhaps anyone who has ever walked on Earth at this point.
Before you stand by everything in the book, nothing made up.
Absolutely everything in the book.
Your former editor at Vanity Fair, Graydon Carter, said he wasn't surprised you'd written this explosive book. He was surprised they let you in the door at the White House. Are you surprised?
No, I'm a nice guy. I go in.
Did you flatter your way in?
All right, let's stop right there. So he says Trump's a liar. He has the worst credibility. He doesn't do what he says. And, of course, there's globalist operatives in the White House. That's what all this is about. And we know who let you in. Stephen K. Bannon. It's reportedly in the book. Bannon lowered the drawbridge, and in came the wolf. Kind of like foghorn leghorns. I'll see, go away, boy, you bother me. There's a hen house over there. It's like, come on over here, dog. You look like a dog to me. Got a big bushy tail, though, and big old teeth. Actually, sir, I'm a known wolf. Well, I say. You go right on in there, my good buddy. I'm a nice guy. That's another joke. ShowDrudgeReport.com. He's got one of the creepy photos, but, man, the one I found this morning, and I can't find it now, it's driving me up. It's like a full body shot of him in a suit, and he's got that demon smile going. Michael Wolff. Yeah, they've changed the photo now. It was down in the corner. Go to Google Images or try Bing or something else. Just type in journalist or author, Michael Wolff. And again, Wolff admits, not sure all true book sensation rocks nation. And he said he did whatever necessary to get the story. But again, just a really creepy person. Can we show him smiling? And I want to show Stelter. I want to show the creepy photo that Drudge had up earlier, and then I want to show the Stelter photo, just to look upon. You think that guy's got a score to settle with humanity? You think that guy's got a chip on his shoulder? You think that guy doesn't look at himself in the morning and say, I am literally the most disingenuous, demonic filth bag the planet has ever seen? And by the way, I don't just say this stuff. When I called Mueller a criminal and a piece of garbage when nobody else would do it because they're all scared of the FBI, and when I called McCabe a criminal, and I called Strzok a criminal, and I broke down how they were criminals, you notice months later, exactly as I said, you now have the head of the Judiciary Committee in the Senate saying it's criminal, and that they were organized, and that it appears to be organized crime, because that's what it is. I don't risk my life to sit here and get in these people's faces because I don't believe what I'm saying. I know these men are garbage. And so's the entire leftist operation, delivering the women of America into the hands of the new Gloria Steinem as if she wasn't damaging enough for women. Linda Sarsour. Linda Sarsour. You aren't given that feminist leadership position unless you're in the Ford Foundation, the Carnegie Endowment, and usually the CIA. Gloria Steinem was hired in college by the Central Intelligence Agency to carry out the breakup of the family. Had nothing to do with empowering women. And now they are saying women taking off their hijabs is a stunt in Iran, and they are bad. Muslim women executed and raped en masse in Burma. Not a peep out of conservative American women. Now they are all up in arms on Iran. Selective outrage is not a good look. Oh, Linda Sarsour. And, of course, there's been news about Burma and the civil wars going on there. That, by the way, the UN ran, exterminating the non-Muslims. What was that, 20 years ago, to bring the Muslims in, just like they do in Africa. All right, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to Carlos, and I'll get to more of your calls here. Carlos, you wanted to, I guess let's do a plug, since I don't know what you're going to say, but what do you think of our X2 true atomic iodine?
Well, I want to tell you that one of the greatest contributions that are being made by Infowars to society today is your products, among which is my favorite, which is the Survival X2 iodine product. I want to tell you something about iodine that people don't realize. And even Mr. Bannon and Mr. Wolff should probably check themselves, because they're probably iodine deficient, not removing enough of the fluoride in their body. I want to tell you that up to 50% of the American population and Canadian population as well may be deficient in iodine. Iodine is a mineral. It's one of the elements in the periodic table. And you do not get this iodine from plants or from food because they produce it. They get it from the soil, and you, consuming the food, uptake the iodine. Iodine is essential to every cell development, especially in children. And iodine is concentrated in the thyroid gland, primarily there, where it filters the serum coming through your blood and extracts whatever iodine is present. If the iodine is not present in sufficient numbers, your thyroid gland has to work double time. In the extreme, it has to, it reaches the limit. So then the pituitary gland sends a thyroid growth hormone to it to make sure that it's bigger so it can process more serum and get more iodine from it. In the ultimate extreme, it's called goiter. It's a disease. And people don't realize that if you are short of iodine, if you're deficient, your cells will not mature properly, develop, and never mind radiation coming from Fukushima, but at the same time, iodine enables your cells to develop and it's very important for muscular brain development. A lot of brain problems and breast cancer may be attributable to iodine deficiency.
And by the way, you can just search engine, mainstream news admits iodine deficiency on average 15 IQ point reductions, then fluoride added another 15. It's all admitted. This is a plan where they bomb us with a bad halogen that our thyroid then uses, and it basically then gives us the swollen thyroid. We are back taking your phone calls. We've got Zach, formerly with Army Special Operations Intelligence, a great source of not classified info, but HUMET analysis of now a private citizen and contractor with unnamed groups. He's going to be joining us from Morocco. And then Millie Weaver's going to come in with a big report she filed that we're going to premiere here. Do some investigation into the Democrats and their mindset. But no kidding. Media Matters is writing like 5 disinfo pieces against us a day. And then when they write the disinfo piece funded by Soros, this is admitted, then mainstream media, that's their green light that it's okay to report on. And it's really ridiculous. Here's the latest article. I didn't mean this to be a plug, but it is a plug. Thump, the first 100 days about Trump being a nice little bunny to counter them saying he's a Nazi and a murderer and all these other things. Well, guess what? They say that this is a white supremacist book. Alex Jones is hawking pro-Trump children's book that indoctrinates them to white nationalism. Why? Because some of the people in the book are white and the bunny rabbit has blonde hair. I'm not kidding. There are black bunnies, too, by the way, and brown bunnies. And so, again, that's just their job. Meanwhile, they have another article out saying Alex Jones claims that Brian Stelter is basically drinking your children's blood. No, what I said is culturally, like a psychic vampire, he's drunk on our children, our future's blood. Yes, they're trying to destroy our future, trying to break up our families. They're pushing all this anti-American garbage. They're pushing, pro-Arab Spring, all this stuff. That is drunk on our collective children's future. And that is, again, a metaphysical allegory that is extremely clear. I didn't say he is actually drinking their blood. But they'll edit it together and put that out, and that's fine. Go ahead. Jones threatens Stelter. You will pay, yeah. You don't think I see your face, scum? He is scum, lying scum. You don't think I don't see you, Stelter? And now everyone will look at his demonic face and think about how he's leering and smiling at you and thinks he's better than you. So again, Soros, you will deliver yourself into our hands. Yeah, let's put him on the front of the screen here. Oh, my gosh. I mean, that is literally an arrogant servant of the system. Narcissism, pettiness, pea-brainedness, the example of everything that men shouldn't be, namely not being a man. That's a wimp that wants to squat over America and run everybody's lives to make himself feel like he's somebody. That's the spirit. Thump, the first 100 days. And you get with it the Alex and Thump, the Art of Infowars, collector's poster, America First in 1776, Infowars.com. Yes, you heard it. I mean, they're now saying just having white people in movies, period, is racist. And milk is racist. So there's a new level. Now bunny rabbits are white nationalists. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is simply amazing. This is white supremacist. I guess because there's white people. This is all they can do. It's incredible. And it's all meant to trigger them. And look, there's brown bunnies and black bunnies. But the teddy bear, he's left behind. I'll say this, there are a lot of coded messages in here, but it's not racist messages. Very well done. That's why the last one they did was a #1 New York Times bestseller. Spirit cooking. Can you read this? You learn it. Oh, and they are so scared. And look, basket of deplorables. Black bunnies, brown bunnies, pink bunnies, gray bunnies. And other little creatures. Look how hateful this is. This is very hateful. You've got the rhino media, because, rhinos are gray. But you see, that's why it's racist, because there's an animal that's gray, and that's coded racism. No, it's not. It's right out in the open that rhinos are Republican in name only. That's what that means. Nothing to do with race. And the bunny went in his little litter box and pooped on the New York Times, because that's all it's good for. Wow. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. And then you've got Soros, is like the claw from Inspector Gadget. I'll get you next time, bunny, next time. Very, very, very well done. There's the evil bunny. Oh, liberal tears. Good bunny. I think the one of Rex Tillerson, I think that looks like Robert Mueller. Robert Mueller looks like a seriously evil person. And he's on a power trip about it. Oh, we're so scared of you. We're so scared. We're so scared of the paramilitary death squads America's always had. Those people ought to be concerned about those people. You think the soldiers and people like the globalist scum, like having little hunchback demons order them around, little backstabbing cowards? Think people like you? They hate you. Everyone hates you who's got a brain. Soros, you old stinking Nazi collaborator. We're going to have CNN come out again and say that, oh, contrary to popular belief, Alex Jones is lying about Soros being a Nazi collaborator. And they now have that as a little talking point, that Jones put out the preposterous lie that Soros ever was even associated with the Nazis. Why, he's an angel. He's a wonderful person. Let's go to your phone calls. Let's see what we got here. John, Dan, Steve, Marcus, Debbie, Miles, Brendan, Greg, Luke. And the callers are all so good that I ended up having the caller on for 10 minutes, but we got to get to you now, and I appreciate you calling. Let's go ahead and talk to John in California. You're on the air. Welcome, John.
Today.
Welcome.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I understand your phone's breaking up a bit. Go ahead. I'm going to put John on hold and come back to him when he gets to a better place. Let's go ahead and talk to Miles. Miles in Missouri, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Alex, it's Miles. I'm actually in Michigan.
Okay, go ahead.
Missouri. But I just wanted to say that you are totally on point with how evil these people are. And they know that they're evil. I want your listeners to know that they know how evil they are. They're doing it behind a smile. They smile in your face, and they put out all these things that are just torturous to your kids and your family. And that's what they've been doing for a long time. But now it's mainstream. They're all over Instagram. They have rappers out there that are totally destroying your kids. There's a guy named Little Peep. He just died, OD'd on Xanax. But this guy was out there making songs about doing Xanax, and then he ODs on it. And so many people love him. They're all young kids. I just wanted to say they know how evil they are, and that you're right for calling them out. And
oh, absolutely. I mean, YouTube will block and take down our videos and brag. The number one mission is to block us. We have a hidden camera tape, Veritas, and how they work with the New York Times. When the New York Times wants us censored, then they're all together, just like they're coordinating with Hillary. But Snopes says that isn't true. They also say that Rules for Radicals wasn't pledged to Lucifer, but then they admit, well, it was, but he didn't mean it. It was a metaphor. But the Logan Paul suicide video shows YouTube is facing a crucial turning point. Oh, yes. And they're letting it stay up. He took it down. They let others put it up as he makes fun of somebody that committed suicide and their dead body. That is weasel porn. It's death porn. It's where you get off on somebody else's pain from your pathetic position and then make everything a big joke. So when you're getting killed or dying, no one cares about you. It's training you to be alone and to be a victim and to be an idiot, but to think it's funny.
Absolutely. You're nailing it 100%. You know what's going on.
No, you do, brother. Miles, God bless you, in Michigan. I tell you, I've had 2015 vision until now. And so my vision at 44 is starting to go here. It's being under these lights all the years, too, hadn't helped, I can tell you that. We'll be right back. Stay with us. We're taking your phone calls. Not that I have any lack of news. I remember first reporting on these types of things 20 years ago from our NSA sources, both public and private, that all the major computer chips worldwide being built had specifications going into them in the EU, in the US, in China, Japan. They all get together in these boards, these multinational boards. That's why globalism is important, to have one central system of control. You can also have monopolies and vertically integrated economies to control populations and stop disruptive technologies from being developed, deployed for the people's use and enjoyment and betterment. But major chip flaws affect billions of devices. A U.S. government-backed body warned that chips themselves need to be replaced to completely fix the problems. The flaws could allow an attacker to read sensitive data stored in the memory, like passwords, or look at what tabs someone has open on their computer. Researchers found. Oh, researchers found. Yeah, it's called WikiLeaks, and it's called Vault 7, Vault 8. It's all the exploit programs, hundreds of them, that they use by design with backdoors built in to get into all of your software and hardware. And let me give you a little news flash. They got chips in them now with data over power line. And then when you put in the smart meters and they put in modern smart houses, you have electricity itself as a conduit for data. The modern light bulbs that they mandated, the little curly cube ones, those are mandated because they have a blurp technology where it's oscillating so fast as a code communication with many of the new devices inside computers and outside computers, things you use and things you don't even know about. Also, I was told 20 years ago that they had transceiver chips in your computers that you think are just a chip, but they can receive and transmit even if the computer is walled off and not on the internet. And even if the computer is off. Now, of course, that came out 20 years after I told you. It came out last year. So, again, 20 years, the news of 20 years from now today. But we get to read about, oh, let me see. I go to CNN, reliable. Oh, my gosh, CNN's got me some really good. Oh, a government body is now warning everyone because when WikiLeaks put all that out, well, now all the hackers know, but here's a little secret. They already all knew. They already know, and they already imagine what the new hacks are, and then they go and try stuff and go, oh, where's the back door? See, if someone knows that there's an unguarded back door on every house that you cannot lock, what are thieves going to start doing? They're going to start looking for the back door. So in the great wisdom of whoever really runs WikiLeaks, in the great U.S. intelligence operatives that are fighting the globalists, and that's a fact, by the way. Oh, yeah, Julian Assange is a deep, deep rogue state U.S. intelligence group. I'm just going to leave it at that. So just more I think you need to know. It's the time of things to be revealed for everybody here. It's not the Russians. And because elements of our government also discovered that it was an exploit against the public, but also a double deal with China, and that China has been given all the information and is using it against us in a double cross, including putting it in chips that are for critical defense that they weren't supposed to. And it goes on and 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 on. Oh, but you read this, see, now they've got to tell you, oh, your computers all have back doors in them. Oh, but remember the FBI, after what happened at San Bernardino, they needed Apple to give them the code to break into the phone. No, they wanted the code to everything. And that was because Apple hadn't given them all the back doors yet. Because Apple executives didn't want to be spied on. You see, Apple executives don't put basically any apps on their phones because it's the apps that are the back doors. All the major big free apps that companies put out, back doors. And the control freaks in Silicon Valley can't help it. Even when it's not a government program, they put little back doors in for themselves. Because you know the type of data you can get on, say, an app that's been downloaded by 5, 6, 7, 10 million, 20 million people? It's incalculable. They were spying on people's apps at Google and knew Trump was going to win by 20 points. Total landslide. That's why they were panicking so hard, ladies and gentlemen. That's just one article out of probably 300 in my stack. See, I could talk all day just about this. CNN here, maybe Brian Stelter will tell me here. The flaws. Like I walk up, somebody walks up and shoots you in the head with a .45. Oh, it's a flaw. No, it's done by design. The flaws could allow an attacker, like the globalist, to read sensitive data stored in the memory, like passwords, or look at the tab someone has open on their computer, researchers found. Daniel Gruss, a researcher from Graz University of Technology, who helped identify the flaw, said it may be difficult to execute an attack, but billions of devices are impacted. Oh, it may be difficult. Sure, right. They do it to be mass exploited at once. That's in all the documents. We're going to go back to your phone calls ahead of our next guest joining us. I just thought you might want to know that. I mean, I know you already know that. And you're saying, well, I have nothing to hide. I'm doing anything wrong. Yeah, I had to get rid of 4 or 5 cell phones over the last 3-4 years because someone would get in on it and start dialing people in the huge address book. Or I would go into my photos and there would be a video of my phone when it was sitting on the dresser. There'd be a 8-hour video with me snoring in the background and stuff like that. My phones will turn on by themselves and dial my ex-wife. If I'm sitting down talking to my son about discipline or something, the phone turns on and dials. Little friends they're always listening. Little friends. Just remember this window that you think so cool into the world is a window for them to reach through. I'm not saying my ex-wife do anything. I'm saying that's what's happened. It happened to Pat Riley, one of my crew members, while he was driving with my son, having a talk with him about life. That's the type of crap I deal with. And none of it's even bad that's going on. But can you imagine the thousands of hours they've recorded of me? Because that's the next big phase they're admitting is going to be, you can just take 10 minutes of somebody, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and totally copy them with Adobe software that, remember, they brought out and then they pulled back because they went, whoa, this will hurt us too. That's 30-year-old technology. It just took more computing power back then. Took longer. But this is how we're being exploited. This is how we're being targeted. This is how we're being manipulated. This is how you are. And so you think, well, you have nothing to hide. That's like people that they're going to Cancun for Christmas or wherever, or they're going to London. Here's all the presents, that I've got under the tree that we're going to open when we get back. I gave my husband this, I gave him that. And then they know the day you leave, they rob you. See, you didn't do anything bad, but bad people used information on you to hurt you. And I'm not talking down to the audience. I know you get this, but other people go, I don't care, let them spy on me. Oh, really? Let them spy on you, huh? Really? And then I noticed years ago, it was always dialing Arab guest I'd had on, or Muslim guest, or other investigative journalist. I know what it was for, so they could then claim, we need a warrant on Jones for trying to do a parallel construction, and he can't find anything on him, but we're going to go ahead and get into his phone and have him dial some people that we already have got FISAs on so we can pick him up in the net. And they don't even do that until they're wanting to try to cook something up. They're already listening. They're already tracking. It's just that they have to open up an investigation, so they just get in my phone and start ring, 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 calling Abdul, calling this, calling that. And then I found out from intelligence sources that are very accurate that they were looking, because I was against the Iraq war and all that, I wasn't pro-Islam, but I saw it was to put in even worse elements, that they were looking to try to set me up, I guess like the show Homeland or something, where I'm an Islamic terrorist. And I know that sounds insane, but that's actually how crazy they are. And look, the new show Homeland is about me. They admit it's all about me. They got, 8 shows that air either daily or weekly about me, misrepresenting who I am. See, why? Because they know I'm a good man. Doesn't mean I'm perfect, and they want to destroy me. So I need your prayers, and I need your support. Free shipping ends this weekend. Incredible deals that we've never had deals this good. And I appreciate you all for your support because you are defeating the globalists, and I thank God for you. Infowarsstore.com, InfowarsLive.com, or 888-253-3139. A huge whistleblower and phone call straight ahead. We're going back to your phone calls, and we've got Zach, the amazing source, joining us with key intel straight ahead as a guest. And then Millie Weaver's coming up. I got a rule. I make callers hold for an hour. I give them all a free T-shirt of their choice. So everybody on hold, I don't care if they're in Mexico, I don't care if they're in New Jersey, I don't care where they are, they all get a free shirt. So let's just get their names or numbers. I know it's a huge hassle, but I'm just going to do it. Everybody holding. I'm going to get to a lot of you or all of you, but I want to go with Sam in Mexico. But Nico just ran in. He goes, yeah, did you see this article about Google Home and Amazon's Alexa and all this? They admit in Consumer Watchdog and Consumer Reports, you name it, that they're watching and listening to you and that they're selling the data and that it has a mischief function. So it'll spy on your kids in the house and listen to what they're saying and what they're doing. And so that gets you into the mode of you have a robot hooked into a corporation that's totally evil watching your kids. I mean, if you had a bodyguard that was in your house, you'd want to trust them or like them. But still, it's weird, okay? Just as a privacy issue. This is a robot in your house, and they're basically giving them away now because they're getting data on you. And I told you this in 2006 because they started doing it then. We wrote articles, and I still tune in to local AM or local FM randomly. And half the time, if I listen 10 minutes, they're attacking me. Because people are paid to do this. And they go, he's the crazy one saying our appliances are watching us. I had my cousin that I've known since I was 1 year old over for Thanksgiving. He's a nice guy. Or it was after Thanksgiving. It was an early Christmas party. And he made a joke to me and, said, yeah, my brother thinks, the Alexa's listening, like you do. And it was kind of like, he wanted me to, argue with him. I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. It's just like, I'm not good for being right and being first to warn you. I'm bad. As everything I say comes true because it was already happening. It didn't come true. It was true. I'm worse, you see. I'm worse. And see, that's why they got to demonize me and attack me so people go, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be. The message is we're going to call you a white supremacist if you say you don't want to be spied on in your house by a robot. And if you sell a book about little bunny rabbits and Trump being sweet, we're going to say it's a white supremacist. They actually said that today. So I'm just saying, this is the magnitude of the enemy. This is the magnitude. And the good thing is, so what? To not be these people's slaves, they throw coffee on me or yell at me. 95% of the time, somebody buys my dinner or pats me on the back, and they have such a soul in their eyes. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, old, young. Our listeners have always such incredible souls and are such beautiful people. Even if they're crippled or they're old or they look like a supermodel, they just have electricity in their eyes. And then I see the servants of evil, and they're so hateful. And they hate me so much. And they're just pathetic. And they want to destroy everything. And our forebears had to fight and die to have a little bit of freedom. All I got to do is just stand against them and let them demonize and attack and move forward. But see, they're not targeting me. They're targeting you. They know that I'm going on to the end, whatever the cost is, but they want the message to you that will get you if you stick your little head up. I'm sorry to Sam in Mexico, but I'm going to go to you quick here. So thanks for holding. Go ahead, Sam, you're on the air.
I'm praying for you, Alex, and for President Trump and the info war.
Well, thank you. I need it, brother. What's on your mind?
What we're up against is the fourth and terrible beast that the Bible talks about in Daniel and other places. This is the global government that you've been talking about for a long, long time, and now it's finally reared its ugly head, and that's the point. It's coming to pass, just like the Bible said.
I'm going to come back to you if you want to hold. This is important because I know I pontificated. We've got Zach coming up. He's a very important guest that I will get to everybody and Millie Weaver, I promise. But everybody gets a free T-shirt or a bottle of X2 or just tell us what you want because I appreciate you holding for an hour, and I've got to break myself with this bad habit. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Free shipping ends this weekend, by the way, store-wide, Infowarsstore.com. All right, the gentleman we have on is anonymous, but he's not anonymous to us. We know his full name. We know who he is. We've confirmed it. And he's been on national news before. as a individual with the U.S. military in some of the most secretive areas of counterterrorism, and we'll just leave it at that. Of course, he's formerly out of Florida. He has left and gone to Morocco, where he believes he can give us more information. And again, he gave us devastating info that they didn't even touch in the media on Vegas and exactly, the intel we should look at on what really happened there. And now they admit they're lying about what happened. That's why that just went away. They stopped using that against the guns real quick. And a lot of other information. He's been brought in by the FBI, visited once, brought in by the FBI, the second time brought into the Army. He's not giving us anything classified here. As a citizen, he's pointing out things that are hiding in plain view that people not trained for it won't see. And so we've been wanting to get him on. He hasn't been ready to. Obviously, his lawyers, I guess, have given him the green light. So we're going to break down some very, very important things here on air. And it's why the globalists hate live, unfiltered broadcasts like this, because other people don't do this. And I don't say that they go, oh, look, we're big and bad. I'm just telling you, folks, that somebody can anonymously put something, out there on the internet. It's like it's manna from, Jesus. And sometimes it's disinformation. Zach is who he says he is and has been in very, very important areas of this whole thing to be able to give us the information he gives us, and is doing this at a risk to himself because there's kind of mafia rules to this, at least still in the West, that if you're a real journalist and keep your nose clean, they still don't kill you. But if you've worked in the system, then they think they own you and they kill you. Now, there's a lot of good people in our government, and there's an internal civil war going on for the heart and soul of the country, and it's spilt out to the open now. Okay, so Zach, we appreciate your courage. We appreciate you joining us. Last time you were on, you were in Morocco. Are you still in Morocco?
As of yesterday, first and foremost, Alex, it's a pleasure to be back on with you. I had to come on and connect some dots. As of yesterday, I'm flown out of Casablanca. I'm actively right now east of Orlando, en route to Cape Canaveral to bring up my first point, which is part of 4 that are critical information that we will discuss here.
Okay, well, go ahead. Your phone's breaking up a little bit, but go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me loud and clear now?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay, first and most importantly, I had to get in touch with Nico about the North Korea information, because what's going on in Cape Canaveral this weekend, and I hope your researchers could kind of in real time pick this stuff up with me, because it's out there right now. This is Area 59. SpaceX is having a launch this weekend. Whether it was supposed to happen yesterday, but because of whether it's going to happen this weekend, it's the SpaceX Falcon 9 with the secret payload Zuma. And that's going to go into orbit, and that is done by SpaceX, but the payload is in conjunction with the U.S. Air Force. That's a DoD fulfilled contract.
Now you're not saying anything secret yet, but I want you to be careful here, okay?
No. This is public. It's just people aren't connecting the dots or getting the breadcrumbs yet. You could Google that and find that. But
obviously, North Korea knows. And notice they're suddenly calling for the first time in decades, and having marches now calling for peace. Isn't that funny?
Well, I got 4 major points here, and I gotta get to them all because they're all interconnected.
Go through it.
The SpaceX launch, the Falcon 9 with the Zuma, that's ZUMA payload. That's U.S. Air Force. That's going to be done out of what they're calling Area 59. That's not conspiratorial. That's official. That's outside of Cape Canaveral there. And that's Elon Musk fulfilling a DoD contract, which he's done plenty of all of a sudden, which ties into the Spectrum bug. You were alluding to it a couple minutes ago as I was listening. That is the backdoors into the microprocessors of everything. Okay, here's the deal. The Silicon Valley sultans have fell in line because they saw what happened to Schmidt, and they're not untouchable. Elon Musk has picked his side. He's in with DoD, but we have collected a lot of information. I shouldn't say we have collected a lot of information. There's a lot of information being collected, PDFs, it's been mirrored, it's been copied. Class action lawsuits have been filed because of this Spectrum bug in California, Oregon, and most importantly, in weirdly, Indiana. Why Indiana? Well, I could tell you why Indiana. There's some troubling emails between Mike Pence, Stephen Bannon, and we could get into Miles Kwok and how that all works out. Then I got a couple more points here. I'm sorry if I'm jumping, but this stuff's pretty critical.
No, absolutely.
Right now.
Continue.
Okay, so the Spectrum bug could be read as spying on, you know, everyday Americans. And make no mistake, whether you're a public official at the highest levels of power, if you're a congressman, a senator, if you happen to be a secretary of state, if you happen to be whatever you are, make no mistake, you use those same devices. So if you think you could bleach them, if you think you could have a house fire and play victim and get rid of them, you are highly mistaken, because the Silicon Valley Sultans put the Spectrum bug out there. It's classified. Nobody's going to know who dropped it, but the information's out there. And now we have the information. Now we have the PDFs, which will be released. Assange will be released. Bannon made a big, big, big mistake. Here's the problem with Bannon. Bannon tried to align with Miles Kwok. Miles Kwok, people probably don't know who he is, but the Chinese billionaire who should be in China. He is the rook. He is the main piece when it comes to this North Korea strike. This Zuma payload that's going to be fulfilled by SpaceX, which launches those we're going to get into orbit, is going to do something for DoD that I can't get into, that will make the North Korea attack plausible and not as catastrophic as people are worried about. Also, it's going to give us the green light with China. We're going to give them Miles Kwok, and we are going to get the green light to take out North Korea, as me and you talked about many months ago. Bannon, in some weird, I don't know what happened. I think I do know what happened, because I've seen some emails and some PDFs. They were attempting to pull off the 25th against 45. Obviously, that didn't happen, and they thought they were dealing with an idiot. This is serious. This is happening right now. This is happening right now.
Well, I know Roger Stone is much more than he seems, obviously, and he's been down at Mar-a-Lago. I'm going to leave it at that. And he 8 months ago, I was like, shut up about Kwok. And then the Chinese president came, and they said, give us Kwok, and then we'll back you on the North Korea. And Stone knew that back before it was even on the news. And he just has been obsessed with it. And then obviously he brings it up every time he talks to the president. And the president's so busy, he's like literally like, what, that guy hadn't been yet? I mean, it's just, it's crazy.
Well, the issue is they were double dealing Bannon, Tillerson. Tillerson's next. What they don't understand is,
well, that's what. Okay, I'll just say it. Stone told me that Bannon was going to be out 6 months ago because of intelligence operations getting caught up by the Chinese, and then it was basically forbade from talking about it. But now it's basically out, and I was like, absolutely, I don't want to come out and say Bannon's in bed with the Chinese. Are you kidding? But that's the word, and I just, it sounded crazy to me. And now look at this.
So then, you know, you have Trump coming out, and I can't get into certain things that are going on, but yeah, there are operations protecting the...
Yeah, just because that Kwok guy is running around shooting his mouth off about China, that's the biggest Trojan horse I've ever seen. You can take one look at that guy. Sorry.
What could be said about Steve Bannon that hasn't already been said about Karl Rove, and what could be said about Karl Rove that hasn't already been said about Bandar Bush? Yuck. The Silicon Valley Sultans had to fall in line, and Elon Musk did, because they saw what happened to the actual sultans in Saudi Arabia. And as we spoke about months ago, the viewers could pick it up. I told everybody, first year salvage, second year savage. And what we're seeing right now is nothing short of remarkable. And I'm just telling you right now, Kwok will be extradited, and Assange will be in the United States within about a week, and that's going to be a switch that's going to happen. And, you know, here's the last thing. So I left Casablanca yesterday in Morocco. I had to go there for certain things, but Elon Musk is a patriot. Assange is a patriot. Elon Musk has a lot of interest in the Sahara and making huge solar farms as he does in Australia. And I can tell you right now that Musk is a fan of yours. I could tell you the same way, maybe you didn't know who I was back then, but Farrakhan was a fan of yours. The problem is the image, and they think, you know, all the clickbait.
No, I'll just say it now. It wasn't off the record, but I can't even get into it. I mean, that's incredible. Hold on. Stay right there. We'll be right back on the other side with our real QAnon. Stay with us. This isn't a game. It's not a drill. It's not make-believe. We're not LARPing here. This is not live-action role-playing. This isn't Fantasyland. This is the real world, and Zach is a real high-level intelligence source whose information has just continued to turn out to be stunningly good. And that's why the FBI has come and questioned him once and taken him to the military base the other time and held him and then released him. And I think it's important that people understand that people like Assange and people like Zach put themselves at great risk and in just defense of basic human liberty. Meanwhile, Republicans asked DOJ for criminal probe of ex-British spy Steele, who penned Trump dossier that's now admitted to be fake by Steele. And Grassley's also calling basically for, well, there's a new criminal investigation of Hillary. It's all happening, and Eric Schmidt had to leave. Let's get into other tidbits you haven't hit on and why Schmidt had to go and the big shakeup, because they're still censoring. But the word is they've been told by the head of the FCC publicly and privately that they better stop or they're going to break up Google, Facebook, and Twitter. So a truly anonymous intelligence source. Zach, please continue. Now back in the U.S. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's the Spectre bug. Like I said, we call them Silicon Valley Sultans. They figured it out. You know, Musk kind of leaped the way there, but we're not messing around here. And so let me just get into this one because I missed this point. I should have probably started with this. Huma Abedin, I don't know if you remember our call a couple of weeks ago, but we made the HRC Huma Obama connection there. Make no mistake, Huma's going to be indicted. Huma's going to be prosecuted. Sessions is doing some. First of all, Sessions is compromised. Sessions is very compromised. Tillerson is very compromised. And when the Spectrum bug comes out and the PDFs come out, it's not going to come from an individual person, but they would just be published, and then journalists will be able to report them. So that is what it is. But with that being said, he understands the writings on the wall there, and they got 19 new prosecutors looking into all the sealed indictments, and Huma's done. But the problem is the stuff, Huma's the Awan brother connection, and with the Awan brother connection, there's the damning emails with the Spectre bug.
Sure, I don't want to interrupt you, but what about this fire in their bedroom? Basically a firebombing in. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so that's double barbed, and people will know what that means. They're not untouchable, and a lot of people aren't happy with them, so something happened there. Of course, I know nothing about that, but something did happen there, and it was an attempt to burn or get rid or destroy certain evidence, hardware, and even hard files that they had, and play some sort of weird game. But make no mistake, they had internal security that was like very tight there, but they were attacked. And they were just letting them know on Seth Rich's birthday, that make no mistake, we're coming at you, and you're coming at you hard. And when it comes to Obama, and I'm sorry if I'm jumping, but when it comes to, because this is all connected, the HRC fired, she's done, Huma's done. Huma will be the end of HRC. That was a big problem for her, but we got the emails through Spectrum, it's all done. But the Obama Foundation, this guy's all around the world doing this and this, this and that. The Obama Foundation's got a real problem. Barack Obama's got a real problem on his hand. He promised to close Gitmo. It's kind of fitting and kind of poetic that he didn't close Gitmo. That was one of his promises that he didn't do. And funny enough, depending on how you look at it, some of his closest allies are end up being there, hated or not.
Amazing. Other big points you'd like to make, or just talking to your colleagues, just the general sense of where this battle to restore the republic is right now.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the second year we're getting into 2018 with Trump. Trump puts out the tweet, and Trump, they criticize him for Twitter, and they criticize him for having some, I guess you could call them deep state or left behind actors or whatever. But
well, they criticize whatever's over the target.
Well, Trump tweets, and this is out there. You know what makes a good movie? Good actors. He played Bannon. He played Tillerson. He's playing Haley. He's letting them. He's working them for what they were. It's not going to be that bad, but your political careers are over, and they're done. Bannon is a special case because he's especially crazy. Like, he's actually out of his mind. And when you see the PDFs, the emails of people he's talking about, and you'd be surprised. You would be surprised who he's talking to. We know he's talking to Miles Kwok, but Miles Kwok, we have to understand, he wasn't even on the radar for a little bit, but Vice Media, so Vice Media puts out a piece on this extradited Chinese billionaire. It's this puff piece of how he's this great guy in China, so terrible, and blah, 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 and it's Shane Smith's Vice doing this. It's Shane Smith that has to sit down with Barack Obama and talking about his foundation.
Sure, it's the key operative.
It's intense, and I don't know if Gavin would talk about it, but just look.
Is he? I mean, obviously, he comes off to me as a straight up Chinese communist agent. I don't even think he's a double dealer like they're trying to sell on the media.
Well, I even admire individuals like Anthony Bourdain. Like, I like the show. It's an entertaining show. But when you talk about Hemlock, and if you watch into some of the other episodes where he opens the season at Shanghai and says, I think the new language of the world will be Mandarin. And it's like, what are you talking about? And where does he work now? It's like he worked at CNN, and I think sure, it's a
sellout to China. The globalists bet everything on China. It's not going to be the Chinese century. It's going to be the new American century.
It will. And okay, so this is another one, and this is a big one. And this is what's going to come out next week. So let's not lose sight of Ambassador Jack F. Matlock Jr. Jack F. Matlock Jr. was an ambassador to Russia back in the 70s when we were having this issue with the falling USSR into becoming Russia, and he speaks prophetically about how they will do what they are doing now. And Trump has spoke about Matlock in meetings in some places and stuff like this, but let's not lose sight that the U.S. the transition between the USSR into what Russia is today is not that long of a historical, leap. So there's stay behind communists that are not so happy that the Soviet Union became Russia. And if we could understand that, a lot of this stuff starts to make sense. The problem is that we have a real president and they thought they were going to pull off the 25th on 45, but the only thing that resembles 25 is 25,000 in the Dow Jones. So they are all duped. And they are done.
That's right. 25,000, and in the stock market trumps the old 25th Amendment. Absolutely.
Okay, and here's another little tidbit, and I have to pick. I'm sorry if I'm jumping. There's just a lot going on, and it's hard to get on sometimes. But so just to and Trump also uses the word pockets. In parentheses, pockets is very important because it means we're cutting off the funding of outlaw weed and everything else. Notice the timetable. Notice that Schmidt steps down, all the stepping down when the executive order happens, when Sessions, puts forward these new prosecutors, and all of a sudden Bannon loses his mind. This isn't a coincidence. The executive order has a lot to do with Bannon because with the Spectre bug, some of the emails are pretty damning. They were going to claim he was crazy in the second year. They were going to push Pence. They were going to thought.
Let's talk about the 25th Amendment plan with their moles that blew up in their face, according to all the evidence that's mounting. With you straight ahead, we're bringing Millie Weaver in to finish up, and then she's got her big report. Stay with us. We'll be back. Spread the live links, folks, and local radio stations. All right, we've got loaded phone lines. We've got Mike Cernovich coming up. Riding shotgun with us here is Millie Weaver, our great Infowars reporter. And she's been out on the street looking ahead at 2018 and 2020 and Trump's tweet storms about election fraud and voter ID, which have been proven absolutely on target in triplicate. So that's coming up as well as Millie rides shotgun with me into the next hour with Mike Cernovich. But going back to Zach, who, again, is a major whistleblower, gives us really great just analysis. And he's not giving us anything secret. He's just giving us analysis and his view, and he's been really accurate so far. And you see the storm that's here. Let me ask you to finish your points, and then I got a few questions, and Millie has some here. But first, what do you make of QAnon and that stuff that's going on? What do you make of the stuff going on at 8chan? Zach?
Let me be very careful when I say this. QAnon is not singular, it's plural. It is, or we are, it's pillars holding up a platform that is the Republic of the United States.
Okay, very interesting. Other key points you want to get across people about what's going on behind the scenes? I
guess what I'm trying to say by that is it's not like one individual with one phenomenon or...
I understand it's a consortium of people.
It's very few, less than you could count on one hand.
Yeah.
But it's holding up something very important. And do you remember memes a little bit ago?
Yes.
About Trump being, first of all, one of his most business savvy assets was Vince McMahon of the WWF.
Yes, smacking down CNN.
Right, smacking down CNN, but what that represents is the WWF, the World Wrestling Federation, which is full spectrum dominance, which is perceived combat. It's not combat, it's scripted, right? So when you see this Wolf crap, when you see this Bannon stuff, he said, bring this Wolf to the White House, let Bannon show his true colors, let him lose his mind, let his blood sugar rise, let him get a little sloppy, let's see where you're really at, go make your deal with Miles, try to get a couple more million for Breitbart. There's people out there who got the PDFs and the information, and I don't know what you're thinking. The 25th Amendment push didn't work. So what would you do if you were him? If you were an out-of-shape, out-of-your-mind individual who thought that Donald Trump was going to crap his pants, and then you find yourself in a situation where that's not the case, and you're an evil, maniacal sociopath who has to line his pockets and who's envious of Infowars, and I have some interesting emails for you to read about that as well.
Well, I know this. My gut told me not to meet with Bannon.
Trump sees it. Trump sees it. You have to understand. Trump sees it. It's not like this isn't like a closed room with 4 or 5 people where it's like, okay, you go do this. Like the White House is like this huge apparatus where like this is not like. You have to understand the lay of the land. Like,
I know. I haven't gotten a call from Trump in months, and he has to literally sneak away to call people. But it's more genuine than I've seen him in these other phone calls. Other people, he's very genuine. But Trump really likes the excitement of taking the globalist on. And for them to claim, he didn't really want to win and all this crap. I mean, Trump is like, keep attacking, never stop. We're going through. I'm not going to let you down. We will turn the country around. We will get it done. Yep. And it's like he's reporting to me, and I'm not saying that as a power trip, when he came to my audience, and that was the kickoff, and we all knew what was going to happen there. When he came to my audience, he was saying, I will not let you down. He was literally being honorable and saying, I'm ready for the mission.
He's a man of his word, and that counts for a lot in the political sphere because we've never seen that before. Most of the times we get politicians, puppets, whatever. They lie to us, tell us what we want to hear, and then they go in there.
It was the opposite of a narcissistic power trip about him. He's just making it about him as a logo to beat them, trying to kill his image as a figurehead. That's why they hate it, because he's rebuilding it every day as they try to destroy it. But I'm just saying, when it comes down to it, he's into the thrill of the mission we're all on together. That's the thrill for Trump. It's not about narcissism. He makes fun of himself. It's all a big joke when it comes to him. But when it comes to the country, he's for real. That's why they call him mentally ill, because he goes, he really cares. I'm sorry, Zach, go ahead.
There was no term fake news before the Trump phenomenon. So why not let the wolf in the White House? This dude is going to self-implode. I mean, look at him. And you look at Bannon and anybody who sat down with him. I mean, I don't mean to actually, I will. I don't care, because what they did to Breitbart, I'm aware of what they did to Breitbart, and wait till we get the PDFs out. But Bannon is no Breitbart just because he happens to be there now. He's a slob. He's out of his mind. He thought he could be Karl Rove, but Donald Trump's not George W. So, and he made that very clear during one of the debates. And
Zach, I kind of have a question that's been on my mind, because I was listening to you earlier and you were talking about North Korea, and we all know the globalists want to take Trump out, but there's been a lot of stuff that the mainstream media has been pushing with almost foreshadowing headlines that somehow Trump's going to be boisterous and North Korea is going to attack us.
Yeah, could they try to use the 25th Amendment to get rid of Trump, of North Korea?
But is there also something, do you know of any information out there in the back channel of the globalists actually plotting to work with North Korea to have North Korea attack us in some way that it can be blown up in Trump's face?
What this is truly, that's a great question, Lillian. And what this is like, it's truly a sad situation, because this is a generational plan that's been going on, and they spoke about the armistice. Anybody who's been in South Korea and the DMZ, like I was stationed over there for a bit, this has been going on for like 50 plus years, right? So it's like, eventually something had to occur, and they were invoking strategic patience. But when it came to Trump and he said, hey, what happened at 9/11? What's happened with our foreign policy? What's going on here? Eventually it had to come to an end. And once we realized how big of a pawn they were being used in the global scheme of things, it was important. And I made a call and I said, North Korea, Yemen, and Iran are all connected. There will be no kinetic war with Iran, because the war is going to happen in the streets as we're seeing now. North Korea is going to be, there's going to be a strike in North Korea. There's just no way around it. And it's terrible, but it's going to be limited. It's not like, completely
but we'll see what the Russians and the Chinese do.
Do you think it's possible that we could see North Korea strike South Korea? and not get blamed on Trump?
So I opened the call with this, and this is the most important thing, and this is the inside information that people have to pick up the crumbs or connect the dots. The SpaceX Falcon 9 with the Zuma payload. What happens in North Korea? They have all this stuff, they have all this capability. What if they don't have any power? What if we have the most sophisticated EMP over their country where they can't retaliate, and we come in with covert operations, take out the power leaders? Do you think what human being on the planet wants to be a slave? They're in fear. So if we could come in, if we could stop their capability, if we could remove their power, show the prosperity, and allow a true transition of real leadership to happen there, that's possible, and that's possible only because of the technology that we have nowadays in Silicon Valley falling in line. We're not talking about complete annihilation. We're not talking about a nuclear attack like we've seen 60 years ago, 70 years ago. We're talking about sophistication. The lights shut off. People are gone. They wake up and they say, you know what? Life sucks there. It's been sucking for a long time, and guess what? I would like a better life, and it doesn't have to be kinetic. We have the capability, and with SpaceX and with what we're doing, it does not have to be kinetic. It will be deadly at some level because there are people who are just fully in, but this is beyond.
Make no mistake, turning the power completely off, even though they don't have it in most of the countries, and kill a bunch of people. But they're already living hell.
But let me make one thing clear. This Zuma mission. This is that it's U.S. Air Force. It's U.S. Air Force in there, but it's SpaceX delivering the capability. It's called Crew Dragon. What did Trump talk about? Fire and fury. Fire and fury like the world has never seen. What is a dragon? I don't think people understand what's going on. We're living in a real life movie that's never been told. This is unbelievable. It's not like, they are brainwashed, but they're not completely gone. There will be a strike. There will be absolute warfare, but something's going to occur where their capability is completely smashed. 3 days ago, they did it. I don't even know if it's been reported. 3 days ago, they had a test in North Korea that was quote unquote foiled, and their own missile crashed on the city of themselves. Okay, so they hit themselves with the missile because they had a failed missile test. The people, they're not going to go along with this. This is all happening. This is 2018.
Well, more than that, they've got all the particle beams on the jets. They can shoot those missiles down.
I got one more point.
One more point. We'll come back and we're going to get to her big report. Thank you. This is powerful. We're back live. Millie Weaver riding a shotgun with me into the next hour, part way with Mike Cernovich, the journalist, investigative reporter. And we've got Zach here with us. Just such grave information we're talking about. And everything Zach's ever talked about here with us is either public domain or it gets verified. And it's a perspective into some of the things that are going on. I think we're going a little bit over the edge here with him getting into payloads on missiles and on rockets. I'll tell you, there's all sorts of stuff like that up there. Just what they've accidentally leaked. They had that stuff up there in the late 70s. Star Wars didn't begin until they branded it that in the 80s. But before, it was just a Space Command, which they just announced officially a few years ago. It's been around since they formed NASA. NASA is the public name of Space Command, and that is the real clandestine breakaway government that Trump has been hinting he wants to now open up to the general public and take us light years into the future. But that's a whole other subject and a whole other area. I just know the stuff I was told about family that worked in some of those areas was that the stuff they saw in the 60s is what we have basically now.
They're hiding technology, essentially. Supposedly, I've heard that there's this museum of things that'll never be because it's like hoarded technology and information that essentially has been bought and the patents have been bought, and it's essentially technology that would free people.
It's known as disruptive technology. And there's kind of an allegory at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark where the Ark goes in, there's a whole warehouse of that stuff. And that's basically what it is. And the argument for the total surveillance is we've got such high-tech weapons and systems. We've got to surveil what everybody's doing to keep control. But then they're randomly gene splicing everywhere and doing all this insane crap. But it's devilish. It's a race to become God. I told everybody this, and now Elon Musk is blowing the whistle and sounds exact word for word what I'm telling you. Because he didn't get it from me. That's what goes on behind the closed doors.
And they pick and choose which technology they think is going to disrupt the system. Whereas look at how much iPhones have disrupted the system. Disrupts our regular
anything
life.
That'll help us and call it disruptive, and everything that is disruptive they roll out. It's always inversion because that's their system. Exactly. We're going to continue, Millie, because you're here because I wanted your great report, but I'm running on and we've got to get back to Zach. Zach, go ahead and finish up, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, whether or not you think it's overstretched and make a mistake, I mean, it's public information. Look at the Air Force and the DoD contracts that have been fulfilled by SpaceX. Nobody else, SpaceX. So we're in bed together, whether we like it or not. And I can tell you firsthand that Elon Musk is a patriot. I can tell you firsthand that Assange is a patriot, and I can tell you that if Hillary Clinton had became president...
Well, you can just look at Assange, and he looks genuine and smart. It's like evil people look evil.
Let me hint to it.
Go.
I can tell you firsthand that Assange and Musk are on our team. They are aware of you. They're fans of you. But like anybody else, they run in circles where it's like, people want to be popular, this and this, and some things are sensational. And it's the same thing with Farrakhan. He said this. He said that. I said, you just got to listen to what he's really saying. Like, imagine having the, the information and the knowledge of Alex. Like, let me bridge that gap when we could do that. And look what we've done. Look what we've completed. And this week in Cape Canaveral, when this SpaceX launch takes off, Operation Zuma, what is this, the most successful president ever? This is 45, okay? On Christmas Day, you have the Secretary of Defense tweeting out an image of, Washington crossing the Delaware. And I was in Morocco on the 25th. I couldn't spend the 25th in America. And I can tell you right now, on the 27th, we had some specific individuals connected to the Obama Foundation, not him specifically, but his security, if you want to call it that. You want to come, and I'm going to state this right now, right? But just to be clear, and it's there's nothing problematic about this. Obama Foundation was meant to give a speech in April in Marrakesh and late April. Sorry, that was canceled. Morocco. I'm sorry about that. But we know about the pay-to-play. We told the Majesty. We told the CEO of Mosaic in Florida. And next time you come to the Rift Mountains, and next time you come to check me, we'll see how it goes. It didn't work too well on the 27th of December, and here we are talking. So I'm doing what I'm doing.
And the money is being cut off from how about Soros? How's that creature doing?
Jesus Christ. Soros, first of all, Soros is running for his life because they will indict him. Listen, it might not even be government sanctioned. Somebody might just get him. But Soros is, first of all, Kwok is in bed with Soros. Kwok is talking to Bannon. So right there, we have a huge problem. I don't know Bannon personally. I've seen some PDFs and some emails, but I thought it was all fishy after what happened to Andrew Breitbart, and I didn't want to say anything about it because Trump actually did get elected. But I understand what he's doing now. Like, he's letting them hang themselves. He's seeing what they're doing, and it's only he's going into the second year now. But Soros is a big problem. But I'm telling you right now, the Huma Abedin emails. It was so sloppy, and it was so blatant. And with the Spectre bug, we have it all mirrored. They're done. The prosecutors are out there. It's only January. Just wait till February.
How does Eric Prince tie into this? We know the Intercept.
Eric Prince is a great guy. Eric is a great guy. Obviously, I know Eric well. We protect the president. What do you want me to say? You know what I'm saying? This had to happen. I've said it on the show several times. It's the Second American Revolution. Eric Prince is a good guy. The problem with Eric Prince is, again, with some of the Spectrum stuff, and not only that, they have collection data of just massive amounts of phone calls, which is problematic, and emails. It's like you're talking at 11 o'clock at night with somebody. Obviously, during the heyday when everyone was getting paid during the Halliburton days and the Cheney days, people were collecting money. But Eric Prince had a change of heart, or at least he seems to be pure. He seems to be at least have the president I don't know, seems to be protecting him, but he has a problematic past in some certain capacities. But, I mean, nobody's perfect. But as of late, as of 2 months before the election, he's done great things. But I've been wary of a lot of the PMCs, and I don't work with some of those PMCs. I do my own thing, and I think really getting into that stuff. But Prince is a good guy as far as I'm concerned. Nothing too compromising, especially not in the last 12 months. And some of his operators have done great work. And
well, let's say this in closing, and powerful information, because I asked Million here, and I'm being rude. She's just sitting there, but she doesn't mind. We can talk about this for hours. No. We appreciate you. Here's the point. The arrogance of the Clintons and Soros and the globalists is just delusional. But they've got to know now that there's no way they're getting away now. There's no way they're going to win. Even if they killed me, killed Trump, killed Matt Drudge, I mean, they're not going to be able to stop us now.
Okay, so Assange had his, I had it, Corsi had, okay, Corsi, what did Corsi say? You're going to see people fleeing the country. You're going to see suicides. You're going to see this. You're going to see that. Huma Abedin is going to play this weird, you know, we're in such this culture now where it's like, I'm a victim, look how big of a monster my husband was, which he was, a complete freak and just a tool. But it's like, it doesn't excuse you from what you've been doing and who you know in Pakistan, and not to mention the order that's been passed. Hey, Pakistan, how about you're not getting close to $1 billion this year? How does that sound?
It's all happening. There's definitely a big war going on. All right, thank you so much, Zach. And I'd like to talk to you sometime today, if you can, off air or tomorrow, because I've got some questions for you. And again, nothing classified. I just want to get your take on a couple things. But you can already see everything, anyways.
Let's talk. Hey, as of after I leave this, when this launch happens on Saturday or Sunday, depending on the weather here, I got to fly into London for 2 days. I'm going to be back into the States next week, but we need to talk because we're changing the world.
Yeah,
but, if you would like to speak, I would love to talk to you.
Sure. Well, I mean, here's the deal. I mean, their money's drying up. I've seen it. They had operations against us that as soon as the Saudi Arabia stuff happened, man, it got cut off. And that's why, and that's why the stuff they were doing, like, suddenly went, wah, 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 wah. But a bunch of their idiots, like Hitler Youth, are out there as the Russians are rolling into Berlin in 1945, and the Nazis have already fled, and they got 12-year-old kids up front. I mean, all the people at BuzzFeed and Media Matters, they're still at their machine guns, and 3 million troops are rolling in. I don't think they understand. And we're not just saying that. I mean, 3 million Russian troops, they love blaming on Russians, all use the allegory. 3 million Russian troops are about to face down 500,000 German kids.
Well, I think that they're actually going to allow Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin to take the fall. The Democratic leadership are going to back away from Hillary Clinton, allow her to take the fall, so that then whoever they run in the midterms, whoever they run during the 2020 presidential election, they can have they can claim to have a disassociation from Hillary Clinton. We've already seen with Joe Biden, who there's been a lot of talk of him running in 2020. He's actually already on his book tour, and he's been criticizing Hillary Clinton. You think, oh, why would he be criticizing? Well, he's not actually really not liking Hillary. He's trying to create a distance between himself and Hillary Clinton because they know that they're going to let her take the fall.
That's perfectly said. That's absolutely right. Zach, thank you so much. Be safe. All right, he's gone. We're going to come back. We're going to get to your special report. Mike Cernovich will love to hear it. He loves calls as well. He's such a great guy when he hosts a show. He loves us to kind of take it over with him. He likes free-for-alls. Fourth hour coming up. We're going to tweet this report out at Real Alex Jones in a moment and posting it to Infowars.com. Joe Obama, 2020, to rival Trump. A special report here with Millie Weaver that we're going to air some of in the next segment as Mike Cernovich joins us. And folks have been holding, and I appreciate it, and they're all getting a free T-shirt or something for doing it, or they can hang up if they want. But I'm going to try to get to those calls with Mike Cernovich. He always has a lot to talk about as well. But Millie, you really, during the breaks, you're on a roll here laying out the big fight, election fraud, what they're planning, the super ticket, Joe Biden and Michelle Obama, right. Michael Obama.
You know, Joe Obama is not actually a term that I just kind of created. It's already out there. There are tons of Joe Obama 2020 merchandise that you can already purchase, and Joe Biden 2020 merchandise. And so we've seen tons of articles, leftist media outlets pushing for Joe Biden to run in 2020, and it's very likely that he will. And if you look at the past statistics of vice presidents winning elections, it looks very good. So if the Democrats want a sure bet against President Trump, they are going to run Joe Biden, and they're also most likely going to run Michelle Obama. But I think it's more likely that we could see her in a vice president ticket. So essentially, rather than having Obama-Biden, we will have Biden-Obama, or what they're coining Joe Obama. And what's interesting here is when I went around Austin and talked to a bunch of liberals and asked them who they wanted to see run for president, they literally all had Michelle Obama off the top of their lips. And even the ones that I asked Michelle Obama, they did not take second to rethink.
And again, these women are well-meaning people. These are literal mind control victims.
Yes, and they're thinking, oh, well, she was a first lady, so why not have her then? And since Hillary is taking this fall, why not have Michelle Obama? And so that's what we're looking at here, but we're also looking at a tough 2018 midterm election. Although there are a lot of Democrat seats that are up for the midterms, they only need 2 seats more than they have right now to have the majority in the Senate and essentially try to turn Trump into a lame duck president. We've seen them perform miracles like they did in Alabama, or should we say voter fraud. And it's no wonder that Trump, I'm sure he has privy information, okay, about Alabama and about what all went down there. He's been tweeting out just recently today that voter identification laws need to be put into place. He says that the voter fraud in these liberal states, the liberal states have been refusing to put forward their voting records. So at that point, and
even Harvard did a computer check, and the estimate is 7+ million people voting in the names of dead people or voting repeatedly. And just in the last election, I mean, Trump had a landslide.
That's right. And we didn't realize that, you know, although Roy Moore had a huge splash controversy in the media,
he really won.
It was horrible. We didn't realize how crazy the voter fraud was likely to be.
Well, remember, the poll said he was going to lose by 15 to 10 points. Then he lost by half a point. And there was just Democrats going, I came here from California to vote and screw him over. Oh, let's engage in fraud. Yeah, rob everybody.
So
I mean, they're just open about it.
Yeah, and that's likely what we are going to see in the 20.
No one votes illegally. No one votes illegally, Millie. This never happened before. It's a conspiracy theory. We're going to engage in fraud. We're going to totally take over. You got all the Veritas videos? I mean, it's crazy.
It is crazy. And
meanwhile, a new book with Trump as a bunny rabbit, they say I'm promoting a white nationalist book because the bunny rabbit has blonde hair.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, you talk about racist against white people, man. But that's not even, it's white people putting it out saying whites are racist.
And Michelle Obama has made many statements that people interpret as being racist against white people. But we're looking at the possibility here. Democrats are so familiar with the sound of Obama-Biden. When they heard Biden-Obama, it was instant. It's already out there. There's already been polls.
It's like, yes, we can. It's all Pavlovian idiocy.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to see. Joe Obama 2020.
It's like, who's in the government? Joe Obama? Joe Obama? Joe Obama, Joe Obama, Joe Obama, Joe Obama, Joe Obama, Joe Obama. Stock market to zero. I want people. I want North Korea. Joe Obama. Cernovich on Twitter. Mike Cernovich taking over in this hour. Author, researcher, investigative journalist. I want to hear what he's got laid out for us today. Always breaking big news here. So much craziness going on. Fires at the Clintons' bedroom, at their house with the Secret Service, right there inside. You've got SpaceX launch and reports of, super EMP weapons being deployed. And we've got just North Korean war, not on the horizon, but right up front right now. You've got Steve Bannon, who we've tried to support. It's been basically one way. Because Breitbart does a lot of good stuff. I even think Cernovich has written some stuff for him. But the point is that now we see that going on.
Exactly.
What a dumb move by Bannon, man, I tell you. Because I thought he'd come out and say, I didn't say this. This is, this guy's a known yellow journalism person, this wolf in the journalist clothing. So, Mike Cernovich, what do you have in your armory, in your arsenal for us today here on the Information War?
Yeah, the Bannon stuff is a very, very important development. That, by the way, there are so many timeless messages in there. And, I really want, because for me, it's a very emotionally troubling experience because, I think highly of Bannon. Don Jr., however, is one of the greatest patriots in America, other than, Trump Sr. I mean, the amount of abuse, Don Jr. is linked to your stuff, to my stuff, retweeted Jack Posobiec, retweeted Roger Stone. That guy just takes more abuse than anybody other than Don Sr. So the idea that anybody would insult Don Jr. is, of course, a very, very emotionally disturbing thing for me to find out. And then the idea that would have been Bannon wouldn't have made any sense. So I found out what happened. And Jonathan Swan of Axios already broke the story, so we'll give him the scoop for it.
Let's put it up.
Yeah, so I tweeted that link out. So his report is actually 100% accurate. So Bannon did what you and I do. you and I have a habit, and this is why people can edit so much about us. We'll say, well, I can't believe he did that, because then they're going to be able to say Don Jr. is a traitor. Well, what they do is they clip out Don Jr. is a traitor, right? They don't go, then they'll be able to say. So that's why there's all those weird videos about you out there, me out there, anybody, because they leave that part out. So that's what happened is Bannon wasn't himself.
And by the way, Wolff is famous for this.
But let's look at the big picture here. What are we seeing? We're seeing the Russia collusion narrative come to a close. So what do they have now? Oh, well, let's have this Bannon hit piece. Let's cause division within the Republican Trump base. Why? Because the Democrats are going full steam ahead for 2018 midterms.
I totally agree, but I want to just ask you to finish that so you can give it your take on it, because I agree with what he's saying. It sounds like free form, and I kept saying, Bannon, respond, say it's out of context, say it's out of context. Then all he says, oh, I love the president. That wasn't strong enough. So for me, that's when I went completely Captain Caveman, Mike Cernovich.
Yeah, he made a big mistake. Crisis management, you don't have hours. If I woke up and saw that people go, you know, Mike Cernovich insulted Alex Jones, I would be on Periscope in a second. If they go, I bash Millie Weaver or Infowars, I'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa. I wouldn't draft a statement and run it by lawyers and run it by a committee. I would just say, hey, I don't know what the heck is going on here, but I'm going to get to the bottom of this now.
Yeah, this sounds like fake news. This guy misquoted me. You know, I was doing devil's advocate, because that's what they do to me all the time.
And Trump's come out on Twitter saying that there are blatant lies in this book, saying that this guy went and had access to the White House and went there numerous times. And Trump even says on his Twitter, this is not true. He's never been at the White House. I actually made sure he wasn't allowed to be here.
So, well, I mean, this Wolff guy, by even liberal publications, is known as really shifty. What's your intel on him, Mike?
Well, here's what he did. He softened everybody up. Back in November 2016, he wrote a very flattering profile on Bannon, which the media, by the way, freaked out about. They go, how dare you?
I remember he got that big exclusive with Bannon. Bannon was this big architect.
Yeah, so he did that big article in the Hollywood Reporter. The media goes ape crap on him, and I can't believe you did that, and blah, blah, blah. So he softened Bannon up. Because here's the thing, Alex. We're all men. Bannon's a Catholic. He should know this. He should know that vanity and pride is a sin for a reason, because that's how they get you.
Pride goeth before a fall.
Yeah, people flatter me all the time to insult you. People will go, oh, you know, in the media, people will be like, oh, yeah, you know, Washington Post did this to me like a week ago. They go, oh, Cernovich, you know, you're too good. You're too good. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. What are you talking about? Alex Jones is a patriot and American hero. But what they'll seduce you. They'll say, oh, Alex, oh, Millie, what are you doing with that Cernovich guy? Just tell us that he's a bad guy, you know, and we'll give you that good press. We'll give you that good media. You won't wake up to more hit pieces. And that's how the media seduces
try to turn
people.
You. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So so Wolff seduced Bannon with that piece, which, by the way, all credit to Wolff. I mean, we're in a war. And this makes a lot of people angry sometimes, because I call him more like a referee, like a journalist. And I give credit where it's due. The Wolff got into the White House. Why'd they let the Wolff in the White House? Well, because he ran game on them. He seduced them. He made them feel comfortable.
And sure, he snuck in with Bannon, and then Trump never saw him. So then he makes it like he had access. Total crap, Millie.
But then again, if, you know, I really think that something more sinister with Bannon is going on. Like, I liked Bannon and everything, but after really investigating and looking into this, I'm starting to say, hey, no, there's something not right here with Steve Bannon.
He is out of Hollywood.
Even when Trump is tweeting out, and Donald Trump Jr., they're tweeting out that there were tons of stuff going on behind the scenes, lies and scandal and leaks that can be traced to Steve Bannon. So that goes to tell me, well, did Steve Bannon originally have to leave because he was causing so much strife?
Let's get back to the Donald Jr. thing. The venom in, I'll crack him like an egg. It sounds like just like a guy acting tough, like, you know, drooling over the president's son, who's an honorable hard charger patriot, you know, drooling over it. That's in fact, Cernovich is a really intuitive guy, because I never really said on there that's what made me so mad, but it was that crack the egg venom, wanting to see somebody fall, wanting to see a patriot broken. It shows malice.
Well, to me, it's always been very frustrating, because you know, I have friends that work at Breitbart, so I'm going to be careful how I word this so that the people don't lie about what I'm saying. But how many favors has Breitbart done for you? You know, how many favors have they done for you? How much have
Zero.
they really done?
Really nothing.
You know, let's just be honest here. They've always viewed us as kind of the outcasts and, oh, those are fringe people, not realizing to the mainstream media, we're all French. To the mainstream media, Breitbart and Infowars are one and the same. You know, so that was
well, it's a wannabe elitism of people always, they don't even understand the rock star effect of being the black sheep. The minute I became establishment, that's the aura is gone. It's like Trump's the outsider, and we're real. I could care less about red carpets and, oh, I've been invited to go talk to Bannon so I can, like, you know, have him brush his dandruff off on me. And I'm, you know, sorry, go ahead.
Well, that's the issue is Breitbart, you know, they made a lot of mistakes. They said, well, I don't want to be fringe like Infowars, which is wrong, but I'm just telling you that's exactly the way people think. And they got to realize that the media is never going to love us, okay? We're never going to get that glowing profile.
I was on a 2-hour Waco special on ABC last night. I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, because you know what it's going to be. It's just going to be a hit piece, same old lies.
My point is I don't want to watch myself.
Yeah.
And I want to change the world. I mean, I look at one look at Brian Stelter and that fake smile of his and how disingenuous he is. It just makes me want to vomit. It makes me want to vomit. Mike Cernovich, is he not the ultimate example of just the opposite of what a man is?
Well, I posted a excerpt from his book. He said that all the women wanted to sleep with Matt Lauer. I don't know if we can pull that excerpt up, but on my it's true story. He wrote this book on
It's
cable
like
news.
Sink Uger says women are subhuman. Classic Islamic statement.
Yeah,
that doesn't surprise me.
He's just a big, fat, disgusting pig. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, I'll see if I can find that excerpt where Brian Stelter said that Matt Lauer was like a sex icon. So I'm going to search my phone real quick while you guys talk, and then I'll retweet it to the top of my timeline because he doesn't want anybody to know about this.
Look at that. I mean, if you showed a group of kids his face and 10 other people's, they would say, that's a bad man. I mean, that is the poster boy of a sack of backstabbing garbage.
His smile looks like a smile of a chimpanzee before it bites you.
Exactly. No, it's nothing but malice. It's just enemy. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Millie Weaver here, co-hosting with Alex Jones and Mike Cernovich. And, you know, it's really important to note here that the Republican Party will kind of criticize just about any little thing and start infighting immediately within each other because we all kind of think objectively. Whereas if you notice, the Democrat Party will actually loyally follow whoever it is that's their person, be it Hillary or Obama, to a fault. They're like a cult. It's like they don't even have individual thought process to have criticism of their own party. And that has led to their downfall in overly supporting Hillary Clinton when they shouldn't have to begin with. But we also see the downfalls within the Republican Party where there's so much infighting all the time. It's like, can we just get it together so we can actually keep our president in office?
Mike Cernovich, I just can't believe that they're still attacking viciously as Trump and all of us together, with God's help, crush them. And I just think they're crazy enough, and they've been saying it, they're going to try to kill the president. I really think that's where that's going. I want to ask you that first. And then, look, I knew that there was some animosity between some of the Breitbart people at the top and some of the folks in the White House. I tried to stay out of it because Bannon had a little bit more credibility as being a patriot, even though he kind of just blew into town the last few years and took over Breitbart after Breitbart mysteriously died. So I just, sat there and like 5, 10, 15 stories a day we link to, cover it, boom, boom, boom. For every 100 stories we link to on them, maybe one mention of us, usually kind of a snipe, an attack. I mean, even Daily Caller does that. I don't freak out. I go, Daily Caller wrote a piece attacking me. Fine, knock me out, baby. Let's go. If you think we're not on the same team, that's fine. I'm not going to stab you in the back. But now that if he stays on top of it with the Soros connections and the Chinese communist connections and this crap, for the good of the country, Breitbart has some great journalists and great people. And, of course, a great man founded it, and Drudge breathed life into it. Let's give, Drudge the credit for the Promethean fire. Drudge founded Breitbart, okay? That's what, and help Breitbart and the whole 9 yards. Breitbart did a great job as well. But let's just give credit where it's due, because these sociopaths never want to give the credit. You give the credit to know what's victory and what's working and to celebrate it. I celebrate all these people. I don't like seeing Bannon's fall. It makes me sick. That's why I'm tired of it. I'm tired of investing in people and having them crap all over us. Bunch of crap. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's treason. It's really infuriating.
And then they accuse us of treason.
Yeah.
We're the Americans. You got it? We're bringing the country back in the Freedom Bank. Get out of the way. You keep running your damn mouths, you're going to get war. Go ahead, Cernovich. Sorry.
Well, the issue is that they all think they're better than us. Because friends of mine will text me and go, you know that in D.C., the Daily Caller and the Breitbart people, they're laughing at you and Alex. They make fun of you. Why do you link to their stuff? And I go, look, keep me out of the drama. I'm in it to win it. I don't care if some little, soy boy with 5,000 followers on Twitter, because he works for the Daily Caller or Breitbart. Oh, you're such a real journalist, but we're the fake journalists, even though I can't go out in public without being recognized.
Exactly. They join our enemies. Don't they understand dishonor is not what you want?
Yeah, they're snide, they're jealous because we are the real celebrities. We're the famous people. We're the people who have an impact. So I always tell people, I don't care. I will link to people who are throwing down fire on the enemy. But Drudge, who did Drudge light up on Christmas? Your website and mine. Christmas lights. Matt Drudge has never, and that's why Matt Drudge is a winner.
He's we're not just kissing his ass. He is the big man.
Yeah.
I mean, so much of what we've done is because of Drudge.
Matt Drudge has proven himself, and he's stayed loyal to the cause, which, remember, the cause before even the Trump train and Trump movement, the cause is the patriot movement that we originally started, that you started.
Well, here's the deal. Drudge obviously knew that Bannon was bad news from what I saw in the last 6 months, and he never gossips. I wish he'd have told me, but he just doesn't do it, period. I wish I'd have gotten more warnings about this, Mike.
Yeah, well, the issue is a lot of people don't understand the concept like derivative social status. If you're relevant because of your association with somebody, or just maybe you never played team sports, protect the quarterback. Trump's a quarterback. No matter, you can be the hot crap running back, offensive lineman, wide receiver.
But you're a piece of crap if you don't do your job and the quarterback gets his knee broken.
And Bannon even hurt Trump's image in the first place. Even putting Bannon in hurt Trump's image because they tried to attach alt-right and racist white supremacists with Bannon.
They say this bunny book is white supremacist. Bunny book we sell because it's got a blonde bunny.
Yeah.
Well, Bannon, to give the devil his due, Bannon and Cambridge Analytica and all that stuff did really help with the swing states. And again, that's why for me it's such a troublesome position to be in, because I have such emotional.
That's why I wish he'd have come out and said I was taken out of context. What is he thinking meeting with that demon?
Mike Cernovich.
What was the mistake?
Mike Cernovich, do you think that Breitbart should get rid of Steve Bannon?
I think Steve Bannon, rather than Breitbart get rid of him, I think Bannon should go start his own media stuff. He has his own money. He has his own talent. He has an interest.
Exactly. Don't just live off, the work of Andrew Breitbart. Let's see him. He's such a big man. He wants to be president. How about he goes and builds a new dynamo media empire and shows us his stuff? He didn't create it like Roger Ailes. He didn't create it like Roger Ailes. He didn't create it like Matt Drudge. He didn't create it like Andrew Breitbart. He didn't create it like Mike Cernovich or Alex Jones or Joseph Farah or folks like Tucker Carlson. He didn't create anything. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
So that's what he needs to do. That's what people go, because people go, you never bash Bannon. And I said, look, man, I just want it. And this is what frustrates me about the whole thing. I just want everybody to win. Even the people who don't like me, even my haters, even the losers. I want everybody to get a bonus.
No, I agree. But now that we know he's a big fat snake, he's got to be dealt with.
It's like, I just want, and it's so frustrating to just watch people lose when we are entering a new golden era where there's never been more opportunity.
Exactly. I wanted to be in my X-Wing with Bannon right beside us and everybody else. We're blowing up the Death Star.
Meanwhile,
not having him like giving the codes to the enemy. Here's the codes,
Meanwhile, all this controversy is there to distract us from the fact that our economy is doing amazing. Our stock market is doing amazing. Trump keeps trying to desperately tweet this out like, hey.
And by the way, we're not being cheerleaders just to be cheerleaders.
No.
Trump is fighting for his life to deliver to us.
Exactly, and we are benefiting. Our country is benefiting, and this is literally just to completely cover that up, distract people from the fact that
instead of our country coming back, our jobs coming back,
they are.
Instead, I'm looking at this wolf devil. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cernovich.
Well, we might be the only honest people in media, because I remember when people said we all turned on Trump. Because we actually criticize him to help him be better. And when he's doing amazing, we praise him. And then people go, oh, you're just Trump cheerleaders. It's like, well, wait a minute. You said 4 months ago we turned on him and we were anti-Trump. That's because we do real honest journalism here. And we called out the bad and we praise the good. And that's the way every journalist should be.
We're cheerleaders of America, of our country, of the idea of making America great again. It's not about Trump. Trump could go corrupt and fall to the wayside, but there's still going to be this movement
it's about
that
delivering.
wants to make America great again.
Exactly. And notice, the executive orders for the child pedophile stuff and all, it's all happening. It's all real. The media's like, there's no pedophilia. Trump's not going to stop pedophilia. And you're like, wow, all you writers, are you pedophiles too? Or are you so soulless for a paycheck, you're on team boy rape? You're on team kidnap little girls. Because you know they don't just rape them. That's the Renfields. Higher level, they torture those little kids to death. 1776, baby, trumps everything the globalists are launching. And yes, the founding fathers were Christians, and they were quite a bit of things, big readers. And you know what 1776 is in numerology? It's 3 sevens. It's completion. And so it starts with 1. And then you've got 6, the fallen, failed man, in the succession. Wow. When man was better before the fall. That's why it's 7-7. We're fallen 6, but from the beginning, God takes us back to the future, and we become perfected again.
That literally just blew my mind. And you know what?
And then they say it's satanic because the Satanists launched their operation the same year trying to counter us.
And 1776 will commence again if you try to take our president out.
And see, I'm not a part of a secret society or anything, but it's like I told this big writer, I said, I'm kind of like, and a lot of us like the head of the Illuminati, but not the evil Illuminati. There's no secret groups. There's no blood. It's not about power. It's not about Satan. It's illumination that God actually creates, and they call themselves illuminated when Christ is the real light. Lucifer is the false light. That's why in the Bible, Christ is the morning star, but so is the Lucifer. People go, oh, it's the same thing. No. Christ is the real morning star. Lucifer is trying to be the real morning star. And people, the real esoteric stuff.
You're the leader of the Jedi Force.
Well, the point is that we launched the real revolution, the real new Atlantis, and this completely freaks out all the occultists when I talk about this, because they know this and they don't want this known.
And you know who's a Sith Lord, right? George Soros. And what does he have planned?
He's more, he's a super evil, like goblin, gremlin of the even bigger spiders behind that. Mike Cernovich, you want to comment on what I was just ranting about?
Well, I've always said, and we've talked about this, that we're in a different era now within the collective consciousness, and that's why people. So I'll give you an example. This is going to sound insane to people who don't understand the global brain theory of the world. But I was asked by a very intelligent reporter, and there are like 3 or 4 of them in America, and she said, how, she goes, why did you get into this whole politics stuff when I was really known as being a mindset expert, as a lifestyle expert, as something completely different? And I said, I was in Paris, and I was walking around, because I love to walk 5-10 miles a day, especially when I'm exploring a new city. And I was walking in Paris, and the sun had just set. And I saw a newsstand, and I saw nothing but yellow. And I go, what is this? It was a node, right? Well, what I saw at a conscious level was that Donald Trump's face was on the cover of some Parisian magazine, maybe Le Monde, and he was covering up the entire newsstand. And this was back when nobody said he had a chance to win a primary or anything. And I realized that was an energy network node action.
The group mind already knew he was what we needed and was going to then push it through. Just like the big study came out a few days ago that people within an hour of you getting a bacteria or a virus, even though it's not replicated, you're not really sick yet. Somehow we just see the body's gone into defense mode, and supercomputers can't tell it, but we can, because we are the real supercomputer. We're just babies just now discovering it. And the globalists know it's there. They know good people have it. Evil people shutter it. They don't. To be evil, you have to shutter yourself. You have to give up a lot of your real potential. That's why in all the allegories, the evil wizard is always crippled and evil and ugly and bad and has arms and limbs that have been hacked off because they have to give up their humanity, like Hitler being nerve gassed repeatedly in World War I and surviving. That's like an archetype of it, coming back from the dead, which he did, by the way, repeatedly. That's the archetype of these people. That's what they worship. It's like their Lazarus Project. We're getting into really sophisticated stuff here. The point is that I don't have to be in their fake Illuminati. My ancestors going back, founding Texas, founding the U.S., I'm not going to get into all the people because it sounds like bragging, but I couldn't even help it because that's the real chain. That's the real spirit. And if everybody else out there that loves liberty, you search your background, I guarantee you there's stuff like that there as well.
Exactly. You know, but it's in most every American's blood to want to resist tyranny because everyone came from other countries to escape tyranny that came here. So it's just interesting to see that now we're at this point where we've got these big George Soros guys out there that want to try to do anything they can to keep us enslaved. Wow. And what does George Soros have planned? Well, on January 20th, there's going to be another massive nationwide Women's March / impeach Trump march. So we can expect that we're going to see another huge character assault on President Trump just leading up to this march to invigorate and encourage the women to all go out there.
And how do you get women to march to be Islamicist? You call it a women's march. It's the sickest joke on the planet. Sorry, go ahead. So they're launching a new major counteroffensive. He's putting hundreds of millions in. He put hundreds of millions just into the D.C. march. And there's already, they even are partnered up with this thing called Rally Bus, which it's essentially a charter bus that can connect people to rallies. So it's, for example, you can go from Chicago to D.C., and this is essentially to mobilize and get these Democrats. And they give them food, they give them liquor, they give them everything. Who's funding it? Who's funding it? Well, they admit Soros funds the women's marches. George Soros is funding it. He gave $186 million to just the one in D.C. Yeah, and this is going to be huge. And we can already assume that we're going to see more from the whole #MeToo, Gloria Allred front coming after Trump. And again, it's all about women, and it's these leaderless women, because there aren't powerful women leading them. They're literally being led into a trap. I mean, it's so painful. Mike Cernovich?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. We all see it. You can all see it. It's energy. And that is why they have destroyed, because our brains are drawn to energy. That's why, have you ever noticed you're walking down the sidewalk and you just suddenly veer left or you veer right, and then you're like, oh, wait, what was going on? Exactly. There was like an energy portal. And the Donald Trump magazine cover thing in Paris for me in 2015, when everybody said, oh, this is a joke, that was actually plugging into a node. And that was plugging into a good node. That's why when I say that Trump will be, he's a historical figure and a figure of destiny, you could plug into that. Likewise, it's like a Stargate. And likewise, and people ask why I backed him right away. I could feel it was real, and the enemy's hate only confirmed it, and expanding on that, because we all have that sixth sense. I feel the enemy's breaking. Sorry, Mike, go ahead. Well, that's why they're trying to open up their own Stargates, their own pedophile satanic stuff. You know, you ever notice that they say, oh, quit talking about pedophile conspiracy theories, but they're the ones who talk about it all the time. That's because unconsciously they know that that is their Stargate. Hollywood was their node into the Satanism, into the pedophilia, and that's why they're so afraid, and that's why people like Meryl Streep, who praised Roman Polanski, that's why she's trying to attack Ivanka. And you think you're a Satanist, right? She is the one who cheered Roman Polanski. Raping a 13-year-old girl. She's trying to get ahead of this. They put them in a mind-controlled trance so that literally they support their victimizers. It's Stockholm Syndrome. Well, let's be clear. And that's why they're going to have Joe Biden, creepy Uncle Joe, the creepiest person of all, running for president. He's literally gearing up, and they're backing him. And when I'm going out there on the street and talking to all these liberals out there, they're like, yeah, Joe Biden. Yeah, and they don't think anything about the weird. And people ask, why is he grabbing all these women's breasts and kids right in front of you? It's lesser magic. If he can do it right in front of you, that makes it even better. And then these are all deep occultists, ladies and gentlemen, and they know all this stuff, and they use it against you and your family. And then they got all their Harry Potter movies and stuff to trick your kids to get into it. And it's not that it isn't real. The point is, it's all dark side stuff. You want to just go with God, your intuition, your gut, what's right. You don't want to be in these cults. These are people that know about God's power, but are trying to twist it
on a smaller level because they are sick, evil, fallen people.
They know all about wordplay, how to essentially cast spells using NLP, put people in trance, and how to do it. It's very hard to do. It's very tricky. Even if you try to learn and hear from some of the people who have mastered these techniques,
but it only works on people that are in a near sleep state. And that's what the TVs and all this stuff's about. And we're here to break you out of the trance, which I know you've done, but other people need to, and realize this is an epic war. Mike Cernovich?
Yeah, that's the zombie state, the zombie trance. For example, when I gave a talk at Columbia University, there were people of Antifa holding a sign that said no pedo bashing. And a lot of people, with no evidence, by the way, they have their own false flag conspiracy theories, claim that I planted it. And I said, well, wait a minute. You mean that Antifa and the left are such mindless zombies, they'll hold up anything that you give them? That is a far more interesting point that they're making, and that's what's become as a left.
That's right. The exciting conclusion straight up. Mike Cernovich here doing a great job. We were doing a great job as well. Coming up, the one, the only, Owen Schroyer with Roger Stone, and sometimes, of course, Cernovich contributes to the War Room as well. A lot of exciting things happening in 2018. I'm going to double down on the money for all the different satellites, different TV stations want. It's like at least 3 of them. And it'll be about $1.5 million a year. I'm not going out to get my own station on cable. That's like $10 to $20 million a year, and then no one watches it. I'm going to be... You guys got that music still up? Okay. It's not a big deal. I can keep talking with it on, but it's blasting in my ear. Anyways, the point is that we're deploying a whole bunch of important stuff, and we need your support. We need your prayers. And there's a paradox where the very best broadcast, and this is one of the best we've had in 6 months. Everybody feels it, everybody sees it. The truth is just hitting on all cylinders. And then I haven't plugged in like 2 hours. Because it's just so good. But if we don't do that, we're not here. They've written articles now across the country saying that Thump, the book, a children's book about the sweet bunny Donald Trump, is white supremacist, okay? And then it comes with a poster, Alex and Thump, The Art of Infowars, which the artist had the #1 New York Times best-selling graphic novel last year, Clinton Cash. They've made this new book. They wanted to get me involved in it. I did, and they've flipped out because they don't want us having contact with children. It's all about them having the contact.
And feminist baby, you know.
That's right. Joe Biden. So that's going on. But listen, now you're really fun this is. Getting the books, the T-shirts, the high-quality supplements, free shipping store-wide is about to end. It's got to end. And I've already sold out of the Myco ZX at the lower price. There's a little bit left, but it's gone back to full price. We're selling out of the colloidal silver, so it's not 67% off anymore. And everything by Monday is going to be back to its regular discounts, are like 20% usually. The air filtration, the storable food, it's all 50% or more. I mean, some of these are lost leaders. When you sign up for auto ship, an additional 10% off, cancel anytime. It takes like 1 second. It's not like the mail order stuff when you're a kid. Like, cancel anytime, but it just keeps coming. They keep charging you. This is completely different. Super Blue toothpaste, fortified with the colloidal silver and iodine. That's about to end because it's about to sell out. And so, yes, what we do is we sell it really low price, and then when it's about gone, and we know there's months till more comes in maybe, then we sell it still discounted, but closer to full price to fund ourselves. And a lot of you go buy the products when it is closer to full price, and thank you, because it takes a lot of money to run this operation, and you folks really came through last year. They hit us. They took a lot of sponsors. They kicked us off Google Ads. They threw the kitchen sink at me, and I'm not whining. I asked for it all, and I'm going to belly up, and I'm going to take my licks. And you know what? I've never been a sadomasochist, but I don't enjoy pain. But this kind of pain I actually enjoy because I know it's the right thing. And as they say, pain is weakness leaving the body. So I trust in God. And so just thank you all for your support. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. Stock up on Brain Force, Alpha Power, you name it. Mike Cernovich, you never talk about how folks support you. You never seem to plug. You just seem to give money to all these different groups to launch their own operations. And that's how I see Cernovich. These sociopaths don't get it. And psychopaths, because they're so greedy. Mike Cernovich is like a wrecking ball against the globalist. All I see is good work from him. He's just out there beavering away, promoting everybody, and we see all the energy we get. We send him energy, and we just synergistically get more powerful against the globalists, which we need to do. We're under attack. We need to up our mass, our strength. We need to combine together and move forward. And these idiots don't get why we're successful. They just don't get it, Mike.
Well, they don't understand spirituality. They're not Christians or Muslims or Jews or Buddhists or anybody who try to plug into a greater force. So I've always said that I am just a node in the collective consciousness, and I'm trying to be a node emanating positive energy that builds people up, energy that uplifts people. And I don't plug myself probably as much as I should. I'm having a big event January 20th. You can go to anightforfreedom.com. Stefan Molyneux is going to be there. I think Owen Schroyer might be there. I was talking to him.
Yeah, but anybody you want to come, yeah.
Yeah, January 20th is going to be a spectacular day since you have this. Is this going to be kind of like the Deplorable?
Yeah, so it's going to be like a Deplorable where just wear, dress nice. You don't have to wear the full-on black tie affair. But January 20th, we're going to have professional comedian Owen Benjamin, who was banned for being politically incorrect from Hollywood-level talent.
I was about to say, stuff like this is important to celebrate our free speech.
Exactly.
And to come together and say, we're not just still standing, we're winning. How do folks go to that? How do people find out about it?
Yeah, so the website is anightforfreedom.com, and you could just click on that and buy tickets.
It has a double meaning because we are knights for freedom.
Exactly, the K, exactly. And that's what I tell people is, look, nobody's attacked more than all of us, but we are winning, and that's why they're attacking us. I have the Rothschild family going after me now, sharing fabricated videos and audios and stuff about me. That's the level that we're playing at now, where the Rothschilds, who are friends with Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Clinton.
And we've got to realize that I'm under attack by the same folks, and I'm not ready to get into it yet, but it's incredible. And what's amazing is they will literally go after everybody around you, literally try to pay them, you name it. I mean, this is an intelligence war, and I'm not an intelligence agency. Mike Cernovich isn't.
It's crazy.
But we're in a James Bond movie.
It is, and the stuff that we witness, we experience, everything is really intense because we are playing the game.
We're in the field.
We're in the field. We're chasing them around.
In the arena.
We're in the arena. That's right. We're in the arena.
But we're not going to hide. And that's the point. And this is the point that Bannon missed, even though, again, I want to be clear, I like him, right? You got to show your face. You can't let the enemy think that they've got you beat down. And Bannon, I don't know where he is. He needs to get out there. He needs to have events. That's why we're doing a Night for Freedom, where you can get tickets at anightforfreedom.com. Is we know we're under attack. We don't care. We're going to show up.
He's super reclusive, yeah. Well, I tend to be reclusive only because you can do more digitally, but it is important to get together and do events. Well, it's been an amazing transmission so far. Millie Weaver, tell folks about the special report you put out, Joe Obama 2020 to rival Trump. It's on Infowars.com, Newswars.com, other tidbits, right. Mike Cernovich, other little schmibblets of information.
So basically, as far as this Joe Obama report, like I said, I didn't invent the term Joe Obama. This is out there. This is what the Democrats are promoting, and the lack of hesitation in these liberals when I asked them about Michelle Obama was frightening. Most of them want Michelle Obama.
It's groupthink.
A lot of them do want to support Joe Biden.
Oh, Joe Obama.
Exactly. And what would they love more than to come into office and undo everything that President Trump has done to try to protect Obama's legacy?
And it makes it so easy. You don't have to think, you don't have to be involved. Just, I'm for Hillary, I'm for Obama, I'm for Michelle. It's just so easy. It's, everything's happy. Oh, I love communism, even though I'm walking out of the barbecue place, and I got a cell phone and everything. Sorry, Mike.
No, that's exactly right. They're completely losing their minds, and that is why when the harder they attack, the more transmissions you do. You got to remember, everybody listening, the greatest act of rebellion in America today is to share a link to Alex Jones, to Millie, to Owen, to Roger Stone, to Mike Cernovich. That is the true act of rebellion. We are the new pamphleteers. We are in 1776. 2017, by the way, is also numerically significant. Maybe we'll talk about that in another time.
Go ahead, talk about it.
And so, again, the ones and the sevens, it shows the rebirth, a new era, just like in 1776. And that's why everybody felt it was changing last year. That's why everybody could tell that we're going into a golden era. We're going into a time of prosperity. And that was the significance of it. And now we're rolling in to the new golden era, the new age of prosperity. But that means that the pedophiles, the Satanists, the goblins, the orcs, the evil creatures, the Soros types, they have to come out even stronger because they want to return us into a dark age. So that's why people, if you're a patriot, you feel conflicted. You feel optimistic. You see that you're getting more money in a paycheck.
You're getting mixed feelings because the enemy's still there, and they're freaking out because the sunlight's baking them. And to be clear, this golden era, I agree, is coming in, is us getting ready to face the AI and the big super threats, where we're going to look back on these little demons and think, man, they were nothing compared to this. So this is God giving us a respite.
This is our chance. We need to take it. This is our chance to take our country, our freedom, and the weapons, the eugenics, everything that they have going on. The fact that now they're spraying our meats and our foods with viruses. I mean, we thought antibiotics were bad. They're spraying viruses on our food. The eugenics is up.
And they admit it all. They spray viruses on the meat.
Exactly. And this is our time to try to take our country back. We have a short window here before the technology surpasses so much to where we're just in complete enslavement. This is our chance to do it. We got to rise up and do it.
Great job, Millie Weaver. Your report. Again, Joe Obama, 2020, to rival Trump at Real Alex Jones on Twitter. Please follow us there while we're still there. Closing comments, Mike Cernovich.
Yeah, everybody listening, we're in a golden age. Work hard, enjoy the times, because the evil dark forces are rising.
Exactly. This is coming up for air right now before we get sucked back under. Get some air in your lungs, folks. We're going deep dive next. Stay with us. Owen Short.